slumber. Wake up out of your sleep and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek.
Yo, resurrected, elected from the grave. I ain't worried about a demon defeat me, not today. I'ma stand on my feet with the meek. We on the way. Dry bones in the valley. I'm rallying for the sage. Dry bones in the valley. Living but underpaid. Holy Spirit, make your presence known. We need change. Holy Spirit, make your presence known. We feel shame. Holy Spirit, make your presence known. We need flames.
As hard as these words is simply just the canvas that I wrote on. Can't supplement the faith. No creatine, but it's so strong. In our youth, we used to hit the block, getting our roll on. Now we take the gospel to the blocks we so dope on. Those that tried to stop our faith, we told them so long. The rise of my people with these heathens trying to prolong. Been through so much, but we still gotta hold on. Like back when the lights was off, we turned the stove on. Searching for warmth in these cold streets. Oh, since we woke up the truth, we can't get no sleep. My thoughts so deep, trying to get my folks to see the picture, but we hitting rock bottom, trying to wrestle with the scriptures. It's crazy, demonic forces messing with your mental health. Got all 5 senses, but you still lack sense of self. Without the Lord, your life sagging, gon' get a belt. And like that old Jordan commercial, stop and get some help.
Please, W-A-K-E-U-P, open up your KJV. We shaking up the world so you can't stay asleep. When you open up your eyes, they see IUIC, we on our grind. Bring a light to the world, let a star shine. So we pray without ceasing for our kind. Gotta stack them up to the third heaven till we give Raphael a hard time.
Dead bodies, dead conscience, dead presidents, they said commas. But that's a coma, ain't it evident that's head trauma. They said a lot, but that's irrelevant. The devil been working overtime without the scheduling, the medicine prescribed. It's the word of my God. You'll never be alive unless you let the spirit inside. Vampires throw the shade on them, but day walkers keep the blade on them. Get cut to the core, but never fade on them. Live again.
Wake up out of your slumber. Wake up out of your sleep and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber. Wake up out of your sleep and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber. Wake up out of your sleep and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber. Wake up out of your sleep and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber. Wake up out of your sleep and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber. Wake up out of your sleep and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber. Wake up out of your sleep and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber. Wake up out of your sleep and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek.
I need it to go away. Joy comes with the morning light. Wipe the tears off of my face. Doing is raining. Doing is raining. Open the blinds and fill the house up with light. My Bible shining. It brings the sun out at night. And I see the rain sight. You gotta hold the line in order to endure in this fight. And you know you gotta hold your head and gotta keep your chin high. It's a lot of pain we endure in this life. Keep the laws and the faith in Christ, you'll be winning. You will be winning. You gotta hold your head and gotta keep your chin high. It's a lot of pain we endure in this life. Keep the laws and the faith in Christ, you'll be winning. You will be winning when it's rain, rain, rain on my window pane. I feel the darkness outside. I need it to go away. Joy comes with the morning light. Wipe the tears off of my face. After you know it is raining. Doing it's raining. Doing it's raining. Doing it's raining.
Open my eyes, call me to see. When I wanna cry, but can't let them see. I need strength, I need power, I need lightning, thunder showers. I need warmth when it gets cold, cause I've been warring for my soul. And it's been pouring, I won't fold, but it gets heavy and hard to hold. Lost in the dark, tearing apart. Then I remember that I was chose, son of the king. I gotta believe, I build up my faith. I gotta read, I gotta conquer. Never concede, not bending the knee, I stand on my feet.
Gotta keep the laws and the faith in Christ. It's a lot of pain to endure in this life. See the clouds in the sky, rain coming. So I hold my head high, no more running. Planted, and I'm rooted in the spirit. Send up prayers, can you hear me? Lord, I need your healing, healing. Rain, rain, rain on my window pane. I feel the darkness outside. I need it to go away. Joy comes with the morning light. Wipe the tears off of my face. After you do it is raining. Doing it's raining. Doing it's raining. Doing it's raining. Rain, rain, rain on my window pane. I feel the darkness outside. I need it to go away. Joy comes with the morning light. Wipe the tears off of my face. After we doing is raining. Doing is raining. Doing is raining. Doing is raining. Baby daddy, baby mama, stuck in the middle lane, that's for this, so much drama. I blame myself for you leaving daddy, so much trauma. Gunshots rang out daily, a long summer. In the winter we ain't have coats, snowy days but we ain't have boots. A father's presence, a mother's love, it's like we couldn't never have both. A lost soul that's in need of saving. I pray to God for a better day. I find solace in the Holy Scriptures, cause I know that it's the only way. This is the sounds of oppression. 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 I need a blessing.
Daddy, did you even try to stay with us? Baby mama, she didn't make it easy on ya. Sorrows is all I ever felt growing up. Now I'm grown, but I feel like I'm 5 when I think how you started a new life without us. Missing you, missing us, a family crumbled to dust. Was it worth it? Do you hurt like we're hurting now? These are our circumstances. Only this milk that I'm sipping on can correct it. Only the word of God. Forgive my daddy for walking away from No child that they suffered abuse.
This is the sounds of oppression. 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 I need a blessing.
Trauma bonded with another. Why I do it? Why you do it? And I spent my last on another. Why I do it? Why you do it? It's amazing how looking for liberation cost me freedom. And the demons never stayed when I need them. When the rent due, thrown off, blown off by my own people. This oppression birth another non-believer. I just wanna feel real. But I'm getting numb to the high. Think I shed the last tear that I could cry. Question if it's best I die. Spirit dead inside. I just wanna rest. Hard to pass when I'm put to this test. The after effects got me not wanting to even see what's next. But deep down I wanna beat what's best. God's son, God's word, how I cope. I'm a prisoner of hope. Ain't been afloat since we got off the boat. Lord set me free.
I'm oppression. This is the sounds of oppression. This is the sounds of oppression. This is the sounds of oppression. I need a blessing.
Father, won't you take me, hold me? I'm asking you to show me, show me. Father, you're the one and only. I know that you are worthy, worthy. 'Cause to die is my right to my life, and I will lay down my life for you, lay down my life for you. 'Cause to die is my right to my life. It's a fight to the end, fight to the end.
Yo. No greater love than losing my life for my people, than losing my life for my kinsmen, than losing my life for the kingdom. I want my sins forgiven, to live a life worth living. I just want to see our freedom. That's why my wheel's still spinning. I lived a life full of evil, many mistakes and I'm paying for it. Saw affliction since the beginning. Gotta win it 'cause I'm made for it and I prayed for it. Through the fire, got blazed for it. Came out shining with white raiment. Lost sleep many days for it and I'm saved for it. Like, had to lay down my life for my King Christ. I didn't have to think twice. Had to lay down my life. I didn't have to think twice for my King Christ. Double honors to the martyrs, double honors to our fathers. Revelation chapter 6. I seen the souls under the altar. Righteous blood won't vengeance, righteous blood won't penance, righteous blood crying out for the wicked man's sentence and his rulership ending.
Take me, hold me, I'm asking you to show me, show me. Father, you're the one and only. I know that you are worthy, worthy. 'Cause to die is my right to my life, and I will lay down my life for you, lay down my life for you. 'Cause to die is my right to my life. It's a fight to the end, fight to the end.
Color-coded in the cosmos with brown hues used on the canvas, wrapped and packaged that in fine gold. Damaged goods when we crash landed, batter beat it scattered across the globe. Among the nations cast away stranded, found a book of mysteries of old. Now I know we never been abandoned, more than life or death, 'cause I'm living to die. No wonder why I've been facing these demons on every side, 'cause they want to keep me from seeing God. I know I'm his son 'cause I'm being tried, chastised, antagonized, almost met demise. Living legend, used to live a lie. The glory coming cannot be described. So I
had to lay down my life for my King Christ. I didn't have to think twice. Had to lay down my life. I didn't have to think twice for my King Christ.
heavenly calling, pick up the signal. Covered in stripes, I just need a whistle. Only a glimpse of the bigger picture, but wherever you going, I'm coming with you, cause redemption draweth nigh. Paradise is beyond the sky. To get to that place, then you gotta die. To come back when them chairs fly on high.
Won't you take me, hold me? I'm asking you to show me, show me. You're the other one and only. I know that you are worthy, worthy. 'Cause to die is my right to my life, and I will lay down my life for you, lay down my life for you. 'Cause to die is my right to my life. It's a fight to the end, fight to the end.
It's that time again.
Power Plus.
Yeah, la hora. You know, power hour. Ponle atención, class is in session. Tune in for an hour, maybe more, that's a blessing. Learn from the captains and the leadership. Flee from religion, cause them churches never teaching shit. Everything you learn for your benefit. Line upon line is a requisite. Never take a deficit. Yeah, that mean you take a loss if you stray from the way. You get the understanding if you study every day. Apply what you learn and bless when you pray. There's one interpretation, man, it's say what it say. Ya venía el tiempo, entra para el templo. Aprende del maestro con talento. La Biblia es el centro, usando a Israel como instrumento. No te pierdas en doctrina como viento. Estudia y ora y aplica. Tiempo para Dios, ven, hace una cita. Escritura dinamita, morenos y hispanos israelitas. Oye cómo explica Israel unido en Cristo para la vida. Nunca se divida. Tune in, it's the power hour. Learn your family history, don't be a coward. Yeah. Tune in, it's the power hour. I said learn your family history, don't be a coward.
Yeah, history to learn. It's the power hour. The 11th hour. Tune in to your history. You know it ain't history. Power hour. The 11th hour. You gonna get your history. The 11th hour.
Rockin' with the deacon while you waiting on the weekend. From the tribe of Ethan with the home Puerto Rican. That's a byword, those ain't names, it's God-given. Fighting from oppression to saving all guys, chilling, giving light to the people. Don't let the devil beat you. When you have at your disposal all these leaders that can teach you how to fight fornication, eat in moderation, correcting all these marriages and self-examination. All these different topics getting covered plus a lot more. You probably sleeping if you thinking this is not war. All these different topics getting covered plus a lot more. Just tune in and we gon' tell you what to watch for. Yeah, the power hour. You know, it's the power hour. Yeah, the power hour. Yeah.
Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the Power Hour Plus.
Yeah.
You know, I know we call it, everybody just calls it Power Hour. We always call it Plus because, I mean, we still do recordings on the other one.
Right.
Right? Like, you guys pre-record topics and stuff like that, right?
Right.
But the origins of the show was just kind of, you know, Saturday. We used to do 2, then we stopped doing 2, then we did an hour. And then that's why this was a Power Hour. And
we plussed it.
I know, right? So it's plus.
Right.
So it's plus.
Because it's
so
more.
We got to emphasize because it's more.
Emphasize. Right.
More. You know what sounds more, Deke? These mics, the sound that is.
I don't know.
Emphasizing.
It's different. It's different.
Oh, it's different.
It sounds different.
Hold on, Deke.
My voice sounds different.
He wanted to do that so long.
Did you see what happened there?
I don't know.
He's been wanting to do that since we got in here.
I don't.
Wait, he's He's.
Now, hold on, Ray. I'm stop you right there, buddy.
You
Stop
know
you
what?
right there.
If your timing is good, I like that for this guy. I like that for this guy. I don't know. I hear myself echoey too much.
We're boomy.
I don't know. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're boomy.
I don't know.
We're down in like the 60
Wait,
hertz, 60 hertz range.
Did somebody make an adjustment? No, I don't know. It feels weird.
You don't like it?
I feel very digitized.
It sounds very radio, like very radio.
The other way sounded like WBLS.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least that was the station in New York, like Love Lines. Seconds after
That's
hours.
Right. I don't know. I feel like it's a little.
You on the line with WBLS.
Smooth.
I like it.
Send in your
Sueña
requests.
bien.
Yeah, send your request
Smooth
in.
jazz and sexy R&B.
Right.
All night long.
Right, but I don't hear that with this one. It sounds weird. Sounds
Really?
strange.
I think you just got to get used to it.
Accustomed to it. That sounds the same way. That I felt like
I'm not
I
used
heard
to your arm being there though. You kind of have it like in a
you got
weird
your
position
arm.
right now.
Right,
weird arm.
Right.
I don't know.
And
Looks
the
uncomfortable.
I like the other boom arm
Right?
Yeah.
because I used to.
Oh, you was an over.
Yeah.
I
But you
kind
can
of, you know,
under.
I would do my thing and hold it
Right.
here.
He was all
and
smooth with it.
Right.
I didn't even realize I would do it.
Right. Just a force of habit.
I happened to watch a clip one day and I saw and I said, I do that. And then now I'm feeling it though.
So you was like, dang, that's why the show be so fire, because I get that arm over.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess at least stuff was addressed, right?
That's right.
Yes.
I know. At least it looks fancy. I see all these
Yeah.
little lines. Looks
Yeah.
like the Matrix. You got a little screen over
It's
there
fire. It's fire.
and stuff like that.
It's even got a time on it. So it's got time on it. It's got the
Right.
date, little channels and so forth.
Right. I see
You know?
I see a little thing there.
Little sound effects and all that.
Wow. Are those pre-programmed or you put those in?
I can put more,
Yeah.
but they're pre-programmed.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Yeah. Officer Shia made a guest pop in to work on the audio.
Right.
He
Yeah,
he
man.
been here since Monday.
Since Monday.
At least that's what he said when I came in. I took that as like, damn, you slept here,
I was
like
about
to
to
work
say,
on
you-
the audio.
Team no sleep.
You
Almost.
You slept across the chairs? Like, what you do? How'd you do it?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, know what I mean? Okay. I got you.
I don't know. Wait,
Uh-oh.
what are you doing to me?
Oh, snap.
Oh,
Wait
snap.
a
He
minute.
hitting buttons,
Oh,
y'all.
Wait,
snap.
we back.
I told you
We
he
back.
shouldn't be over there. I said that.
No,
in the
I'm sorry.
beginning,
That was a fart. That was a.
I said it in the beginning.
That was a.
I said it.
That's
in
what
the
that was.
beginning.
That's what that
They
was.
should not be over there.
Yo,
Like
you
a
gotta
kid in
let
the
me. You gotta
candy
let me.
store.
You gotta let me get accustomed to
Right, you know.
to my office.
Yo, that was not IT. We didn't do
Yo.
Damn, he didn't even ring in on that.
No,
He
that
said-
was-
he
no,
said-
Right.
he said-
I'm in there.
He said, "Look,
He said,
you little
F,
ninja."
he said F the formalities.
He said, "Look,
Make
you
me look
little."
bad.
Snap.
He said, "Look, you little ninja. That's not us."
Man. Oh, snap.
So for those who are not aware, you don't see it in the camera shot. Officer Asher has full access to the soundboard and the sound effects. So if something goes wrong, if something is off,
Right.
all right.
We're not blaming IT.
Hey, look his face. He's like a little kid over there, and he has his hand just right by there.
Just twist.
He don't know.
So this is how I did it, Deacon, right? Because you have to remember these things. Red, I know that it's something, alarming, right? Or something that needs to be stopped. So boom. The yellow
Deacon,
reminds
look
me.
what
Hold
he's
on.
doing.
The yellow reminds me of Yellow Make Me Sad. Watch what this one does.
Digging. He's just looking for an excuse. He's just looking for an excuse.
So I'm using discernment to be able to understand
What's the blue one?
this one right
Watch
here.
it.
Yeah.
said,
Let's
let's
push
find
it.
out.
Let's find out.
I don't know. That's gonna be a good one.
Oh,
I like
snap.
that. I like that.
Welcome to the Power Hour
That's right.
with upgraded sound effects.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully the sound stays good. I don't like the way I sound.
I like it.
I like it.
I don't like
I like
the way
it
I
a lot,
sound anyway.
actually.
I don't listen to myself really.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know what? I've worked myself up to be able to get through a short. So I'll
Right.
listen to my shorts sometimes that you put up to see what you guys clipped.
Right.
But I cannot hear myself in a class or any forum. I had that, when I used to be into acting, it was like that too. Like, I hear myself very different than how I come through in an audio stream.
Right.
So like, they when I was taking like acting classes, they would record us,
Mm-hmm.
and I would hear myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I sound like John Leguizamo.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, like the
What was that movie? The Pest.
the accent's a lot thicker than I think I realize. And you hear it and it's just so weird, like seeing yourself on a screen and hearing your voice. It's strange.
But you're him, so I mean, it comes with the yob.
It come with it, yeah.
It come
Somebody
with
said
it come with the yob.
Mm-hmm.
somebody said you're T-Pain.
Why? What?
I don't know.
What did I
Princess
say?
Court said you're T-Pain. Now.
Oh,
D-
Deke is
T-Pain.
T-Pain is my new name. Oh, because
So-
you did the little
So he's D-Pain.
got the
whatever you
auto-tune.
touched, and you did the little
So he-
auto
oh,
tune.
he
Oh,
D-Pain?
yeah, that's
What the
right,
hell
that's
is
right.
this?
You don't know who T-Pain is?
No, I know who T-Pain is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let me start.
No,
Yeah.
yes, let's not let.
Don't let me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, we haven't heard from.
I
What's
don't
up with this
bro,
guy?
I don't know if that's gonna be a good
I
thing.
told you,
at
D.
all,
I said it.
bro, the
What
way
I
this
say?
guy-
What I say? What I say?
I think that's too much control. I mean, listen. As far as order and structure and rank,
Uh-huh.
I think you know it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
Not one man should have all that power.
hey, I want to point out to y'all, I lowered my seat a little bit so that Asher can look taller,
Right.
so that he feels better about himself.
Right. Nah, that ain't what that was.
He's gonna get tired.
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be today.
That spark plug.
I think it's just gonna be today.
I don't know, D. That spark
And I
plug.
think he's gonna get tired of hitting the buttons. I think
Push
it'll
your
happen.
button.
All right, cool. Let's go back.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
He just threw
Let's
me
do
off
it.
with this. The
Yeah.
sound was
Yeah.
weird.
Right. Who are you?
Officer Tobias.
I didn't
Okay.
even introduce myself.
Damn,
Oh,
you did.
look,
Oh,
look,
nobody.
look, back
you
about-
got me
look.
jacked
Talk about
up.
lack of order, bro.
You know what? You're right. It's my fault for
I'm not
being
even here.
discombobulated.
I'm not even
That's
here.
ridiculous.
I'm discombobulated. I just made that up too.
That's ridiculous.
I'm not even here.
Wow. Rude did his thing again.
I thought
What was the
did
nickname we gave him on Sabbath? Damn, what's the nickname we gave him on Sabbath?
It's not
Who this
all
guy?
praises.
Yeah, remember we gave him a nickname for some.
I don't know, bro. That's up to y'all to remember that stuff. I say stuff like in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not premeditated. So I'm Deacon Joshua,
Uh-huh.
I'm Officer Asher,
Officer Ravain.
Officer Tobias.
also known as Mini Me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
and we make up.
He's getting his officer shy on. Go ahead. Come
The
on.
Power Hour Plus.
Oh my God.
We gotta get used to this. Ruben, you done jacked up the whole order.
Pray for us, y'all.
Right.
Pray for us.
Right. It's my fault. I apologize.
All praises.
That's not gonna be good today, bro.
Man.
I do like the way it sounds though, D. It actually
Hey,
sounds real.
Listen, let's get the
professional.
likes up. I see 272 watching. The likes are not near that. And let's share that we're live, brothers and sisters. Let's share that we're live. You know, I know that we're in a weird time slot for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because I noticed the show picks up a lot of views like in the days leading after.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
usually has a good 1 week run.
Mm-hmm.
So I know our live viewership is definitely on the lower side, but it's not reflective of our total views and in the watch length and all that of the show. And I know it has a lot to do with the late time. For a lot of you, it's late from where you're tuning in. But we got some interesting information for you today. I see. It looks like you must want me to go over this because I see you got this up. I know I've been posting different stuff, so I mean, I guess we can look at that. But before we get into that, we're gonna do the housekeeping and stuff. But we got an interesting show for y'all. I don't know if y'all saw the short. I was late in getting it submitted. All right, like I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew I was gonna go over this for like 2 or 3 days. I just forgot to record. To promote the show. But whether you believe it or not, alcohol, or more specifically what they call alcohol use disorder, is a DSM-5 mental affliction.
Mm.
Just like there's substance abuse disorder, but specifically for alcohol, your relationship with alcohol is classified as a mental disorder. And we're going to unpack that later. We're going to talk about that. So we're still kind of going along the same vein of dealing with certain things. And I don't remember exactly what it was that made me think of alcohol, but I often mention it. I talk about it. I like to use it when people talk about all the healthy things they want to do, and then they don't realize how bad alcohol is for you. And this is from somebody who occasionally drinks, and I have no qualms about it. You know, I like a good bourbon. I like a good scotch. I like
old fashioned.
I love a good old fashioned. I like to try different flavored beers and stuff, but it's very, very sparingly for me. It wasn't always like that, from like my teens up until like my early 30s. I think the height of my alcohol use disorder, because I'll call it that, because when you drink feel nice and release inhibitions and things like that, or if you drink for things outside of what the scripture might say, which we'll cover a bunch of scriptures that deal with that today. There is an issue. There is an attachment to alcohol that is not just chemical. Mm-hmm. There is a chemical dependency that happens, but us understanding about healing the wounded soul, it still boils down to a wounded soul. And why we have the patterns of behavior that we have with alcohol largely stem from the same reasons that we may have other issues when it comes to the different appetites that we have for the things that we consume. And that can run the gamut from pornography, right? And who knows? I'll see how I'm feeling. I've been talking about doing something on porn for a long time. I stepped back from that a little because Deacon Malachi did a very good one recently on pornography a few months back. But I also have like a different track that I wanted to go on that, you know, some overlap because you're dealing with the scriptures, obviously, and it's spiritual. But even the porn addiction. And here's the thing. Alcohol, it is a drug in the sense that it's an intoxicating agent. It alters mental state and inhibitions, and we're going to talk about that. It is one of the most acceptable forms of drug use in the world. Yeah. It is seen as the most casual thing, and much like people do not want to accept narcissistic personality traits, alcohol is one of those things that most people will deny that it is an issue for them. I think we think in the extreme, and we think sloppy drunks. And you can be an alcoholic in various forms and various levels. There's degrees to alcoholism. And we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll dissect it. And if you want to call in and you want to talk about any aspect of that, we can work that into the show. All right. But before we get into that, let's take it away. In my echo voice, I'm not pleased with the way I sound. I'll tell you that.
Take it away,
But go ahead.
All righty, shalom, most high, and Christ bless.
Maybe the old way was the bad way, and this is the better quality way.
This is
and it's just my
better
ears
quality.
that need to get used to it.
That's what it is.
You're
coming into the
get out the
perfecting.
hood, so they say. You understand? You got to expand your mind. Because mind you, when you're so used to a certain way of life,
can you throw me a button real? My brother.
I was making a point. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate you, Frank.
Take it away, Officer Remain.
Hey, shalom, most high, and Christ
Right
bless. Hey, in the comments, you got to let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're from. Guess what we got going on in the next 2 weeks? We dropping new merch. Hold on. We dropping a new site.
Ooh.
On original royalty for the men and the women. But guess what, sisters? We got y'all covered. We got a whole clothing line coming out.
Yeah. Don't say too much, bro, because people be copying.
Man.
All the scab businesses.
Damn.
You say something and then they try to
smoke with the scab.
Right,
Damn.
right. We not just gonna throw stuff at you.
Right.
We gonna go back to the original vision.
That's
and
it.
you're gonna see in some of the
With
promos
purpose.
that we're gonna do. We got to get back to roots. We got to get back to the original vision. Original vision.
That's it.
Right. Of what we want to accomplish. Right. And what original royalty was always supposed to be.
Right.
That's right.
And because of the name, I think it got conflated with the music.
Right.
And you know, it's kind of like you have Apple, right? And then you have the iPhone, then you have the Mac and this and that, but it's all Apple. Right. So people got confused. Apple has Apple Music, but Apple Music is not the same thing as the iPhone or the Mac or whatever else, the watch, right?
Yeah.
And I think OR, we have productions, we have recordings, which is the music, productions is the films.
Books.
Right?
Publications.
We have the publications, which we're going to expand upon as well in that, right? We have a children's Bible coming out for you with pictures and things like that.
Home, like what's that? Oil, soaps,
right,
home stuff.
right. Yeah. All of that's under the OR banner, but when it came to the
grassroots,
of what it was,
the core,
and it was really to provide a way to display your pride and your fashion
Express,
and
yeah.
your apparel,
Mhm.
and starting with the fringes, right?
That's right.
So
That's
again, we've pulled away from a lot of that. A lot of it had to do with resources,
Mhm.
both physical as far as personnel,
Manpower, yep.
and it also had to do with resources as far as money, right?
Mhm.
Money's the lifeblood of a business, and I
Yeah.
think we're in a good spot, and we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes.
Mhm.
Officer Ravain's been helping out a lot with that, with pulling people with different expertise to bring you something that's really going to be a brand and not a gimmick.
That part.
And you're going to see that as we roll things out and as we put things, and it's not just going to be let's just hit them with merchandise,
Right.
but it's going to be thoughtful.
Right.
It's going to be seasonal,
Right.
and we're going to listen to the feedback on the socials as we increase our social media stuff,
right.
and see how people respond to certain things and roll with that. And I think we learned a lot just from like the beard thing, for example, right?
Right.
And there's a space for people are hungry for that. Like we did soaps for a little while, right? And those things always sold out, right? And it was like, okay, our people want this type of stuff, and they want to support, and they want to get it from, an Israelite owned and run business.
Right.
But how do we keep the continuity with that, and how do we move with that stuff? And I think a lot of that's coming down the pipe. But I'm gonna let Ruvain get back to his marketing spiel here as he lays this out for you, because he's gonna give y'all some beautiful visuals in the coming weeks of some of the stuff that we're working on.
Right. And I'm going to let the visuals do most of the talking, but I will say that instead of taking a transactional approach like we've been doing in the past, we're taking a more holistic approach, right? So like Deacon was saying, listening to your feedback, the things that you would like to see, the things that you would like to wear, things that you want to rock and show your Israelite pride, we got it coming, right? Even down to just basic functional things that I had to close that off.
But that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Even down to your just basic functional apparel, right? That stuff is coming.
Right.
That's it. But guess what time it is now?
What time it is?
Man, it's time for the sin of the night. Now I got a confession to make. You didn't have to hit that button. You didn't have to hit that button.
That's why I didn't.
I got a confession to make. I've been slacking apparently, on my sense.
Okay.
Because you know what? I ain't even gonna talk about it. You just
we got something coming we got something coming a la La Quamata essence.
You got to reveal the.
Don't
Yeah,
worry,
this
that's
one's
coming.
this one's very
that's-
subtle.
that's
very
fire.
subtle.
Oh, I smelled it.
Yeah, this one's fire.
I smelt it.
Listen, brothers and sisters with husbands. Give it a round of applause for Amber Sandalwood.
I knew it was fire. Sandalwood.
Amber Sandalwood was a hidden gem.
Bro, it's
I
the
saw
sandalwood.
Bro, all of the scents are fire.
All of them.
I know we hardly strongly. Like I strongly endorse cognac and Cubans.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that
that
cognac
was
so
curry.
that stuff sold out.
Man.
That stuff sold out.
Yep.
Right? And everybody like jumped on the cognac and Cubans, right? So it became real popular. But I gotta tell you, every scent genuinely is fire. Every scent is genuinely fire. Some stuff that you might even be
Right.
too keen on is that they're all incredible. Now, not everything goes with somebody's chemistry, so maybe
Right.
when you throw it on yourself, it might not
Right.
smell like that.
Right.
But I'm telling you, this is why we do the samplers, the little
That's it.
10
That's
milliliter
it.
for you
Little
to try
testers, man.
and see what works. You know.
Hey, D, you know what's funny? So the other day I tried this for the first time.
Uh-huh.
I put it on my skin. I'm like,
Took yourself on a date.
look, almost. But what happened was this: like, I put it on, and I'm like, okay, it's a real subtle thing. So I was like, as I know I'm gonna have to speak about this, let me go and get my spiel down right now. So I'm like, okay, it's really subtle, maybe for the house, not doing too much. As soon as I stepped out, because we did the photo shoot, a brother was like, "What is that smell?" I was like, man, that's that
was
amber.
good.
That's that Amber Sandalwood. He was like glitching out for a second.
He was glitching.
He was legit glitching out. I said, look, all you got to do is go to getbeergames.com.
I think, again, I can't say this enough. I think people think it's just to grow your beard, and you got some sandy, dry, crusty beards.
Crusty beard.
Right? Like beard drift all over the place, brothers, right?
Right.
that they don't support or won't buy because they don't see a place or a need for it, right? But it's like the anointing oil. You know what I'm saying? Like there was different oils and ointments that we always kind of put on ourselves in our hair and our beard and our face. And that's where I feel like, you know, it's not just if you just want to grow it, even if you got it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You take that thing up another level. You know what I'm saying? Like why settle for being muscular if you could be the Hulk?
I mean,
you know what I'm
there's a
saying?
point there that
you know,
this is true.
You know, like step it up. You know, so you're like, damn, I got a pretty manly beard as it is. Imagine if you took care of that thing.
The dignity,
get it chic.
Right. That's why we have a growth oil, and then we have the regular joint.
Deke, I'm sorry, it ain't regular. It's premium.
Well, this guy.
Who's that guy?
It's
premium.
I need the teleprompter.
I love that. I love that.
Don't say regular. People are gonna be like, you know.
Yeah, it's regular now. It's premium.
Well, the whole thing is premium.
That's
you
right.
know, none of it is cheap. It's not cheap carrier oils or anything like that. But
all praise.
Are we gonna have some content on that too, right?
Princess Court. I'm rocking the clean slate. I'm still working with the tester cream.
Okay.
I'm doing the cream, the beard cream, and I'm rocking the clean slate. And I haven't used it in a while. And I put it on. I said, damn, that clean slate is proper.
Clean.
That thing is clean. Clean slate is clean.
Dang.
What you rocking, Tobias?
Tobacco vanilla.
All right.
I love that one.
Oh, you got a new one. You using a new one tonight?
I had that.
No, but you didn't wear that last week.
I didn't
you
wear it
did.
last week.
Yeah.
I changed
You
it.
did.
Wow.
That means you have an assortment.
That's right.
Wow.
Man,
Yep.
look at you.
Oh, he's not a
Support
beer,
black
he's,
people.
he's not a beer guy.
He's not a
No,
beer
no,
guy.
no, no,
He's
no,
not a
I'm-
beer guy.
I mean,
Yanni.
I most certainly am a beard guy. So I got on the mahogany spice.
Okay.
I tried it on for my first time today, right? As I was opening up I was opening up the product, the premium product. I saw it was brand new, right? Because I just got it recently. I took my hand. I ever so gently grabbed some of the balm and I put it on.
So
my
you already-
Did you do
already
balm
messed
or
up.
butter? Did you do balm?
No,
He's a
balm.
bomb. He's a bomb.
You did
bomb.
balm?
I got
Oh,
the
that's
balm,
right.
Yeah,
and
he's
then I
got
got
the
the
balm.
growth serum as well. But I got it all mahogany, and I got the cleaner. I think I forgot the cleaner. It's
one?
not the orange
Which
one.
one?
It's the other one, the other main one. The because
It's three
not the
scents I
orange.
got. We got
Oh,
Revive.
Bamboo Boutique.
Which one?
Bamboo Boutique.
Yes,
Yeah, Bamboo
yes. I
Boutique.
haven't
Bamboo
used it yet,
Boutique is
but
nice.
I have the orange one. So
How did you take the bomb out of the canister? Can you do that one more time?
ever so slightly.
Like a one of these?
No, it was like one of these, because you grab.
Are you paying attention?
I know, because he came one day
This was a whole thing.
and he had a whole bunch of finger pokes in his palm.
it
And I was so mad at him because you can either go fingertip or nail.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to kind of go circular.
It should
See-
look like this.
Right. Can the
Okay, all right,
camera,
all right.
Can the
Yeah.
camera
Camera on
show?
that. Put
Yeah,
the
bring
camera
it
on
up
that.
here.
Put the camera on that real quick.
That on the camera.
All right.
Like
See
that.
There,
No, down.
No, because
Down.
they're pointing it. There we go.
Yeah,
Right.
they can see it now.
You gotta
There
go
we
down.
Oh, okay, all right.
You're not scooping up
Right.
scoops in there.
You don't shellac it.
You're right. You take a nail amount, like a
Index-
nail
Yeah.
bed amount,
Index finger.
and then you rub that thing together.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Work it into the beard,
Mm.
and and you're good to go from there. So
That's right.
that's how it works.
That's right.
Step your beard game up.
No
Get-
little promo, no commercial tonight.
No, not tonight.
Not tonight.
Not
Okay.
tonight.
They
but
gotta wait.
But next week.
They gotta
But-
wait.
But next week.
Oh, next week gonna be popping, bro.
Right. And I think a lot of brothers don't understand that, Sister Carissa. There's something very captivating about a man that takes care of himself.
Uh-oh.
Right. I mean, and there is a line, right? I remember back in like the early 2000s, they had the metrosexual thing, right?
Oh, right.
And that, that's a little too far.
Right.
But when you're talking about a man taking care of himself in the manly, dignified way,
masculine
man.
right?
Mhm.
There's something to be said about that. You
Right.
know, I think it's one of those things that women talk about amongst themselves, but they don't necessarily tell men that enough.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's something that men share enough, which is why we did the Wash Your Ass
Right.
Nigga show.
Right.
Right.
That's a good
And
point.
be manly, not mushy.
And, right, be manly, not musty. And we went over that, and we went over that aspect of it, right? Wait, so if you have the soundboard in here, they're not able to put their sound effects in
No,
there?
they can. They
Oh,
can.
okay.
They were doing the bombs.
Because that would have been a good time for them to put the Wash Your Ass.
Right.
There we go.
See, he knew.
Uh-huh.
He was just doubting himself if he should do it
Or
or
it was
not.
like, it's Big 50 in here. I don't
Right.
wanna
He feels
step on
this
his
guy's
toes.
having a field day.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool though, because it looks like you could put more sound effects if you go to the other modes.
Right.
But somebody's got to be on point over here.
Right. Well, look, I gotta say that a manicure without the nail painting, like just taking
Yeah.
care of the
Right.
nails, like a manicure.
Yeah.
I've done it a handful of
Yeah,
times.
that's good.
The cuticle
That's good.
back.
I
you
don't
know, put your
I don't
cuticle back.
habitually go. I've done it a handful of times in the past. It's pretty
Right.
dope, bro. When they give you
Right.
that little hand massage
Yeah.
and do all that
Yeah.
thing, bro. That thing
Straight
is,
up.
It's only
thing
effeminate
is
if you
fine.
get your nails painted or something
Right,
like that.
if
But
you
if
do
you're getting them
something like
cleaned
that.
out, they're not
Yeah,
wrong
don't
with
come
that.
in here with no clear nail polish.
right.
Hell is this?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't shellac your
Yeah,
joints.
don't shellac it. What are you getting?
Right. Why are you doing that
What's
stuff?
up with Tobias? He's all like, he's all
Wait.
quiet and
Do you have on a clear nail polish? Is
Being
that why you was
Frankish.
kind of being quiet?
No, clear.
You had to check. Oh, you took it off.
why are you being
Okay.
all Frankish
All right.
today?
I don't. Am I?
But I
Yeah.
think he's all right, bro.
Yeah?
I think you're the one that's
Yeah,
a little
am I?
weird with the buttons.
Yeah, you're being a little weird.
What was that?
Push a button.
Animaniacs? No, you pushed the
You-
button.
you
I pushed
push
the
a
button. No, you pushed the button. I
Mhm.
pushed the button. Right? Wasn't that Animaniacs?
That-
There was
yeah.
like an episode with that,
Mhm. That
and he was
was
like
also
pushing the
on-
elevator
Push
button.
a button.
No, you pushed the
That
button.
was
I
on
pushed the
Rush
button. Huh? What was
Rush
it?
Hour.
Rush hour. Yeah. Push your
Rush
button.
hour.
No, I'm talking about the
He's
cartoon.
talking about the cartoon. Yeah.
I don't think I remember that episode.
Oh my goodness! See,
Bruh,
now I
I'm
gotta
gonna
look for
clip.
that.
I'm about,
We gotta find it.
Mm.
Thank you, Benson. I walked right into that one.
Right. I pushed the button. I'm not talking about.
You good over there? You good?
Yeah.
Now you don't want to push nobody.
Right.
No, I gotta be wise about how I
Yeah, I'm gonna send you
pushing.
the clip. I found it. I'm gonna send you the clip. I'm gonna send you the
Now you
clip.
don't want to push no buttons.
I'm gonna send you the clip. This is Asher today. Damn. I know he's gonna be like, damn, it's crazy
this-
work.
this
He
is-
got
this is-
all the pop culture
This
references.
is this is one
Oh,
of
I
your
did it in Google. Hold on, that's not the right link.
this is one of your other references.
Let me click on it. Right. I knew it was some cartoon.
When was this show made?
Oh dang.
Dang, that's old.
Yeah, bro, this is like growing up. WB.
Yeah.
You weren't even
WB.
born yet.
Bro, WB
No, you-
was
Yeah,
W-
yeah,
definitely
I remember
weren't born yet.
WB.
Mm.
As far as
Hold on,
watching
I'm gonna
it.
give
Darkwing
you
Duck.
I'm gonna give you the right link, the direct link to the YouTube link. All right. We'll delete the
But it's
other
just
one.
funny how you remember that from so long ago. When was that? When you were like a teenager watching that or something?
Bro, I think
Kid?
that's when I lived in the first projects that I grew up in.
That's
Man.
crazy. Like for you to
That's
remember
hard
that.
for that.
Like, see, like they didn't even get the a whole YouTube for it. That's crazy.
Y'all got it
You push
ready?
a button.
Y'all got it ready? All right. This is Asher today with the buttons. Take it away.
No, I pushed the button. No, you pushed the button. I pushed the button. Now your turn, my turn. I pushed the button. Okay.
Did it
I
freeze?
pushed the button.
Damn.
I push it. I push it again.
I push it.
Don't overdo it, Puppy.
I push it.
And then they could go down the hall.
It was Tiny Toons. That's
Tiny
what it
Toons.
was.
Tiny
That's the
Toons.
Animaniacs.
Okay.
It was
Wow.
Tiny Toons.
Man, you
That's
push a
Asher
button.
today with the button, bruh. Now you're pushing so little. You're
Push
so
your
cute.
button.
You're so little. Push it on it. Wow.
Yo,
Damn, he beat
the
the
fact-
D. He said,
the
shut
D.
the F up. You beat the D.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Damn.
Oh,
snap. You know,
Tiny
beat the D.
Toons.
Bro, we need like a little short of that and get a sound bite every time he ODs on the
Straight up.
buttons.
Push your button.
That's gonna be his reminder to stop.
I push your
fact-
button.
I know,
the fact
crazy
that-
work, right?
That's crazy work. The fact that you remember that though,
Man, Deke
That's
got
nasty work.
archives.
bruh.
You
Deke
know,
got archives.
I'm
That's
telling
like
you,
that one
the
movie
mind
in-
is incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything you've ever experienced
It
in
just
life
stores
is in
it.
there.
Yeah.
It's just the ability to recall it.
Mhm.
It has not been fully tapped.
And to
Right,
do
bruh.
it when you need it,
Right.
that's a skill.
No,
that's deep.
I don't know.
That's a
I
skill.
wish I could do that with everything else.
Man.
That's deep.
You know what I'm saying? Like the thing, it just comes to me in the moment. Like
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
see now. If you can hone it and like really do well with it, right? Like I wish I could remember my freaking precepts as good as I remember random stuff in the moment. You know
that part right there.
Right? But you know what's funny? When I'm teaching, it usually flows pretty good. Like if I'm at camp or on a show, like
Yeah.
I can
The spirit
kinda pull
kick
it
in.
a little
The spirit
better.
kicks in.
Yeah.
Or
It's
you
a
got
gift.
Tobias.
It's a gift.
Tobias is
Yeah,
usually on point with
Tobias is usually
the
good
precepts.
with that. The
Tell me,
precept
my
guy.
man.
Yeah, he the precept guy. All right. Yeah, you push the button. Yeah, you push the button.
push your
I
button.
push the button. It's so cute. Hey, let's get into some health stuff. Do you have this one up because you really want me to go over this one? Is that why this one's up?
I think he just had something up.
Is that all? All right. I don't remember what the other slides on this said.
He's pulling up your other stuff.
I was trying to see what else I wanted to. There was one that I posted today that I think was good about the sugar, and he was like saying the Oreos has this much sugar, like the fruit and all of that. Was that him? Was that guy? All right, let's show that, and then we're gonna go through the discipline slide, and then we'll move into the topic because I don't wanna wait too long to get into the topic. All right, so let's show the fitness chef. That's the one I put today. The fitness chef.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So we often talk about sugar and calories, right? I want to show you how you guys are chasing the wrong thing, right? I'm about to tell you, some of you only eat fruit, but you eat bowls and bowls of it, and you can overeat it, right? Some of you do salads, but then your salad is drenched. I'm talking about absolutely drenched.
In ranch dressing.
In full fat ranch dressing, right? Absolutely drenched, right? I've shown like salad and go. You think because you ate salad and go was good.
Oh, that's crazy.
And sometimes the $5 meal at McDonald's is less calories.
Damn.
Now, does the salad have more nutrients and fiber and stuff? It sure does. But then you're like, I don't understand. I'm not losing weight.
Right.
Your relationship with food needs to change. And you can realize that you can have all types of food in your diet. It should primarily be the minimally processed, whole food type things. I spoke last week about the vegan stuff. Some of the most atrocious processed food is vegan meat and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And butter and dairy replacements.
That's facts.
Right? Vegan yogurt and all this other stuff like that. Some of the most atrociously processed foods are those vegan vegetable replacements.
Right.
Right?
I was on that stuff for 12 years.
So I want you to look at this. Listen
Vegan
to
hot
this.
dogs.
Listen to the chef. All right, and he gonna put you on to some stuff that you might not have understood. Now, mind you, nobody's saying you should eat Big Macs and Oreos all the time.
Right, and mayonnaise.
Right, and mayonnaise. Right, but understanding how these things function should get you to have a better relationship with food, and maybe you won't fail at maintaining weight loss, at achieving weight loss, fat loss, really. Because when people say weight loss, what they really want to lose is fat, because they want to look a certain way and have a certain shape.
Right.
Because you could be skinny fat,
That's right.
Ooh.
right? You could
That's the
look
worst.
slim and your weight is low,
Yeah.
but you're squishy.
Yeah,
Squishy.
Right.
Go ahead, play it.
Did you know this Big Mac contains fewer calories than 70 grams of mayonnaise? Did you know this pack of Oreos contains less sugar than this handful of raisins?
Stop.
Did you know
That whole row of Oreos
Damn, you could have did a line.
Crazy work.
has less sugar, right? Because the other thing is people demonize sugar, right?
Right.
And in isolation, sugars, it's not the sugar. Because those of you who eliminate all the sugar and still are unhealthy and still don't meet your fat, like stop it. I'm not saying gorge yourself on table sugar. That's another crazy thing that's on the internet now. There's people who are doing a sugar diet
What?
where all they're eating is sugar.
That's crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
But they're losing mad weight and getting ripped because the calories are low.
That's crazy.
So it's kind of like the Twinkie diet
Damn.
and everything else, and they're kind of showing you. But nutritionally, that's not sound. Like there's no fiber, there's no vitamins, there's no minerals in that thing.
What are they
right?
eating to
Sugar.
achieve that?
Sugar.
Just literal sugar?
Sugar and water, literally eating sugar.
That's crazy work.
Damn.
But they're doing like 900 to 1,200 calories a day of sugar. And most people,
Oh my God.
you're just going to
that's
drop
terrible.
weight doing that.
Sound like you go drop dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So look, handful of raisins. Oh, but it's raisins. The Oreos has less sugar than the raisins.
Give me the Oreos.
So almonds, cashews, and pistachios are not nuts. They're actually fruit instead. Did you know the sugar in this bottle of Coca-Cola metabolizes exactly the same as the sugar in this pear? Yes.
And some people gonna, because people that have their biases and they not vetted any type of information that they consume, they watch sensational people that say sensational things convincingly.
Sensational.
Right, sensational. And they're like, no way. Now, mind you, I'm not saying the pear is not better than the Coke. The pear is a better choice. But it will metabolize the same way.
So we got to leave him alone with his.
No, I'm not saying that.
Hell no.
I'm not saying that.
All right.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it'll metabolize the same way. Sugar in fruit and sugar in basically sugar water, which is Coca-Cola. Your body does not know what it is. Only your brain does. Your body recognizes sugar, and it realizes how much effort it needs to take to break it down to sugar, because that's what your body uses, right? Go ahead, come on.
Where the pear is more beneficial to health, well done. But that's because of the additional micronutrients and fiber, not the sugar. Did you know this white rice gives you a bigger blood sugar spike than this brown rice? But did you also know that blood sugar spikes are completely normal unless you're diabetic? Plus, you don't eat white rice on its own. You probably add a protein and fiber source because, well, you're not a dementor. So even if the blood sugar spike was relevant, these things would slow it down anyway. At this point, I need to throw something out the window. So, what can I choose around here? Oh, look, this pathetically inept protein bar.
Good shot.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Yeah, that's gone. I'm sorry. That's enough of that nonsense. Are these facts interesting? Perhaps. Are they useful? Possibly. Should they dictate your eating decisions? No. No means no. That's because I've disclosed about 2% of the information about these foods. Additionally, I haven't applied any context to your overall diet or your specific goals. And when you're deciding what to eat, the bigger picture is far more important than fixating on individual aspects of any given food.
No, he won't.
Oh, no.
Eat on my
Oh, my God. Oh.
Hell no.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, that's minus 17 out of 10. So while you've got many people on the internet demonizing foods like this is only because they lack critical thinking skills. If they had those skills, they would understand that you can eat this, these, and this as part of a perfectly balanced and supportive diet. Well, time for me to tidy this all up. All right, bye.
Right, and that's the point, is that there's context. So when you watch these people and they tell you, oh, this food has this and this has that and this doesn't do this, you're looking at the wrong thing and you're looking at things in isolation that don't make a difference. Same reason I don't like to recommend supplements that I take, because it feeds into that there has to be a shortcut and a hack. Like, that must be it, right? The success that Deeks had in what he's done, it must be the supplements that he's taking. No, I typically don't like to share unless I hear something that I know can help something very specific, and I know somebody's doing other things, right? Like, it all starts and ends with those 4 pillars. And if I know that you're at least trying to achieve those 4 pillars, then I might tell you, okay, yeah, you know, this, that, or whatever it might be. But I don't recommend supplements to people, because they'll take it, it won't work because everything else sucks, right? Supplements is that little piece on the icing on the cake type of thing, the cherry on top of everything else that you build foundationally. And you got to stop with it. Oh, don't eat that. That's trash. Don't eat this. If that's all you eat, if that's what you eat most of the time, then yes, right? That's where context matters. That's the critical thinking aspect, right? Sometimes I'll say something and people say, well, I have this allergy, or I have this, or I have this condition. That's the context, right? What I'm trying to tell y'all is that in general, what we typically do, especially us, Jake as a people, is somebody will say something sensational. And very convincingly and emphatically, and we run with that stuff. And then it's always the people that
never make progress.
Never make progress.
Yep.
And you're doing all these other things that's spinning you off. Which leads me to the discipline slides. Let's bring those up. Go ahead.
Discipline looks like restriction to the undisciplined.
Read what he says in the right there, right?
You're not asking for too much. You're just avoiding what it takes to have it.
Look at that. You're not asking for too much when you say, I want to be this weight. I want to lose 20, 30 pounds.
Right.
I want to look more toned, which when you say toned, what you're saying is you want muscle. All right. I want to do this, that, and the other. He says what it is you're avoiding what it takes to have it. What is discipline, the undisciplined look at that's so restrictive.
Yeah.
Like when I tell somebody weigh and measure your food and I don't know if I can do that. Well, you know what? You're avoiding what you have to do to have what you're trying to get at. Go ahead. Come on.
The body you want, it's already possible. What's not possible is having it while clinging to the same excuses, the same habits, and the same story.
Right. It's the same excuses, the same habits, and the same. Like I tell these brothers that haven't made any progress, like in our fitness group here. Right. You're not doing what I've been talking about for the longest. And I'm not saying my way is the only way, but foundationally, with the calorie deficit, and then they'll tell me they're in one, but then they're using like ChatGPT to track the calories. ChatGPT is wildly inaccurate, assuming calories. Get a tracker and enter the food. A tracker has a diary that users have put in. Most of it is vetted and verified. A lot of times, if it's something with a package, you can scan it and scan the label, and it'll give you the information, right? You weigh it so that you know. I'll give you the example with Ashaya. He was using GPT for the steak. And I said, that seems kind of high just for steak. What type of steak are you having? I said, that looks like ribeye calories, not sirloin. He said, no, it's like top sirloin. I said, bro, it got to be a lot less. And I showed him an example in a tracker, and it was like more than half the calories of what he said it was. I said, so, I mean, it's probably good you ate less that day because you thought you consumed more. I said, but it goes to show you what happens on the other end when it underestimates something, right? Use a track. I don't know. So, I had a brother reach out to me the other day, captain on the East Coast. He's like, hey, what's up? I heard, that you were talking to some brothers about this, that, and the other, and this and that. And they're talking about the rapid fat loss diet thing. And I said, hey, listen, Cap, I'm not inclined to stop and take my time to tell people this type of stuff or give them any type of programming or anything. I said, until I know that I see certain behaviors that make them serious. I said, what's your age, body fat, this, that, and the other, and what do you do for it? And then he sends me the freaking body fat, and he's using athlete mode. And the dude's not an athlete. Got bad knees, all types of stuff like that. I said, well, first off, you're using athlete mode. It says you're 19%. And if you saw this guy, there's no way he's 19%. Like I said, yeah, you're not 19%. I said, oh, no, but I work out, an hour, 6 days a week. And I said, but that's not what it says. It says that you have to have a certain heart rate. It says you have to have this. It says you have to do that. Or you have to really know that it's clear that you have that type of muscle mass, right? That would allow you to be calculated that way. And he's going on and on about it. And I'm like, okay, this is the point that I'm making. I said, you know what? I said, if all he had to do was say, well, let me turn off athlete mode and give you my numbers that way.
Right.
And instead, I just said, you know what? Go get a DEXA scan. I said, and that'll tell you what you really are.
It's accurate.
Right. So, I use athlete mode on mine, but I know it's accurate within 2.5 points because I got a DEXA to compare it to. So I know where it is, and it's pretty accurate. But people don't like the higher number on the other piece of it, right? So I validated it with the gold standard of body fat measurement, right? And DEXA had me 2.5 points higher. So now I know there's a 2.5 point variable. And that's in my mind. So though the bioimpedance might say I'm like 16 or whatever, I add 2.5 to that. And that's how I know where my real body fat is, right? So mind you, DEXA, when I was 17% on the body fat scale, had me at 19.2. And I got veins and stuff in my arm. This guy was saying he was 19% and he has no vascularity. So I know you're not that body weight, and you're here resisting me on that stuff. But rather than go back and forth with him, I just like, yeah, go get a DEXA, and then you'll see. Maybe you need that sobriety of what it tells you there. But it is going to say that's wrong. So I'm trying. It's because everybody got excuses, and you keep doing the same thing, and this is why you have the same results. Or you'll do the fad diet, which doesn't do anything to help you change the way that you eat. So when you come off the diet, you gain all the weight back. And then what happens is there's this plasticity that happens and you rebound harder and you gain more back, especially if you didn't do it the right way by building a good base of muscle and things like that. And you're just in this vicious cycle, and it's because you lack the discipline to want to apply these things. I'm not saying the urges and things like that. I'm just talking about the simple application of certain things.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead. Keep reading that.
You can't shortcut your way to self-respect. You either own it or you keep explaining why you don't. If you're done negotiating with your potential, change it.
All right. All right. What else? Is there anything else in the slide? Like on the left and right, there was nothing?
The body you want isn't unreasonable. Your excuses are.
Right. A lot of you ain't looking to be like a bodybuilders that take steroids.
Right.
You want a very attainable, reasonable look. It's not unreasonable. What's become unreasonable is that it's 2 years and you're still in the same place. It's 6 months and you're still in the same place. And you're blaming it on everything else. And if I just take this one supplement, if I just find this one hack, you know, how many years have people been obsessing over the types of food and you still look the same?
Right.
All right, go ahead.
One day your body will become your priority, whether by choice or by consequence.
Ooh, and that was heavy.
I like that one.
And that was heavy. One day your body will become your priority, and it's not. You really don't want it. You don't want to do it. That's really what it boils down to. And by choice is when you do it and you make the sustained effort to change. And by consequence is when they tell you got diabetes, you got this, you got liver, you got this.
Now you're forced.
And now you're forced to do it so that you can fix your health markers. Right? And some people, not even that. You know how many brothers I know that have got those with the diabetes and they're still playing games with it?
That's crazy work.
They're still playing games with it. All right. Anyway, that's the fitness stuff.
I was gonna ask you before you move on. The brown, because he was comparing the brown rice with the white rice. I typically get the brown rice.
It doesn't matter.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. What is the grand
matter.
differences?
It don't matter.
Aside from the
their macros are slightly different. I think you get 2 fiber instead of 1 on a serving of brown rice. And brown rice by itself spikes your blood sugar less, but that doesn't matter.
Okay.
I never
looked into
matter.
it. I never
Guess
looked into
what?
it.
You don't eat the rice by itself. So
right.
So
Go with the proteins.
So you know what blunts the blood sugar spike? When you eat it with fats and protein.
And just the insulin doesn't spike as much.
Yeah. And I've seen it. I've been voluntarily wearing a continuous glucose monitor. I buy the Lingo glucose monitor on Amazon.
That's fine.
There's an app, and I see the foods that spike me, the ones that don't. I see when I have a fat meal, and then now I've been using GPT to like analyze and track it, so it kind of lets me know like, hey, that was a good curve on your. But when you eat, your blood sugar spikes because your body's doing what it needs to do.
How does
the issue is when that spike becomes sustained, it doesn't come down in a reasonable time. It goes up too high dramatically or whatever it might be. Then, you wind up, you got to look deeper and see if there's something else going on.
How does the glucose monitor work?
It's like a little tab. It goes like beneath the skin, and it sticks to your arm. Like I got it on my arm now.
I might have to try that.
And it's been really telling. Like I see when I have stressful things going on, even when I'm working out, like I'll see the release because my body's releasing glucose to help fuel the workout.
Wow.
And then insulin follows that to clear the glucose from your blood. Remember, sugar's not the issue. It's sugar in your blood that doesn't get processed. And that's what diabetes basically is. Your body has everything that it needs. It's not just insulin. There's other proteins and things that are in there to process the food through your bloodstream. The sugar that stays in your blood because your insulin is blunted or inefficient or your pancreas don't work correctly, that's what the problem is. It's very normal. So you hear people talk about spiking your blood sugar. Outside of having some sort of condition, it doesn't matter. That's what food does. Right. And you know what else does that? Stress. Certain medicines, certain environments, different things like that. Like, it's just the way the body works. But because we're looking at these things and we don't want to face our own selves and our accountability, that's what winds up happening. And you don't have to even do all that. Like, I did everything that I did before I ever put a glucose monitor on me. I just figured it might be a nice adjunct to see what's going on there.
Yeah,
I've been contemplating, too, sharing some of my blood results to show people, like, the stuff that I have that I got to work on and some of the other stuff, just to show people, like, how detailed you got to be to really know before you make an assumption and self-diagnose yourself with
Right.
something so that you can see. And one of the main reasons I want to show my blood work is because I want to show the types of food that I do occasionally eat and how it has zero impact on my long-term lipids and things like that. Because I tell you, I get down with fast food burgers, I get down with pizza, I get down with all that types of stuff.
Right.
And it's not the base of my diet, so I can do it, right? I call it the greensman's privilege.
That's
right.
Damn.
That's it.
I call it the greensman's privilege. And I can do those things and not feel guilty.
I pushed the button.
There it is. We got the battle going on in the back and the front with the sound effects, right?
Deke, have you well, where can I go and get I want to check my testosterone levels. How about that aspect? Where can I get that done? How can I get that done?
So for me, your cheapest route is going to be, I cannot recommend enough. There's two that you could do.
For testosterone.
If you want, but I think if you're going to go that route, you should do everything. Because testosterone by itself might not tell the whole picture.
Yeah.
I recommend Function Health. Damn, that was a...
Bro, I heard the whole thing.
My God.
Can they hear that?
Why you handing me?
He did that joint right in the mic. He was like, yo, he was like,
my goodness. Golly.
My bad.
Man.
Function Health, bro.
Function Health.
Is $500, and that might seem like a not. Hold on, that might seem.
I was gonna write it down on the top. Paused.
Here's the thing: if you go to do just a testosterone test, it's gonna be like two and change already. So why not for a few hundred more? But it covers your testing twice a year.
Okay. So it's $250.
And it's gonna test your nutrition. It's gonna test your pancreas. It's gonna bro. It's insane. The type of data that you get from that. Function Health.
Function Health.
If you want to go a little cheaper and more direct, CFOX Health. It's a home test. Either finger prick or you pay a little more and there's this little device you put on your arm that pricks you and then it collects the blood in a vial. Doesn't hurt at all. The finger one hurts. The one on the arm don't hurt at all. You send that thing in. And same type of thing like Function Health, but they can't do as many markers as Function Health does.
Gotcha.
But that's more a little a la carte. So like you would do the male hormone panel, and it'll look at all your hormones. It'll look at your DHEA, your estradiol, because men have estrogen. It'll look at your prolactin. Yeah. It'll look at total and free testosterone and all that stuff like that, and you'll kind of see where you're at. And then it gives you recommendations. Both of them do on dietary changes that you can make to help mitigate those things and supplement recommendations.
The second one was what?
CFOX.
CFOX.
Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but it's SIFOX. CFOX Health.
CFOX.
Yeah, CFOX or CyFox. I'm not sure what it is. CyFox Health. Yeah. Very good. It's very good. But both of them are very good. One you do by yourself. The other one, they take a lot. Like it's 2 visits and it's like 12 vials of blood each visit, and they do a urinalysis and everything. But I mean, if you're gonna go that route, I would say splurge a little. And do the whole thing and see what's going on with you.
Just run the game.
I should ask, because the Function Health do all that?
The Function Health does everything. It'll let you know if you're. And what's nice is that it lets you know what's the reference range, but then it also lets you know what they deem optimal based on studies for like longevity and good health. And they'll let you know like what you can do to get to optimal, right? So like my vitamin D levels were good. They weren't deficient. But they look for like 20, 30 points higher. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try to be a little more conscious of getting a little more sun. And I'm going to up my vitamin D supplement that I take. I'm going to look for one that has a little more. And it's been moving in the right direction.
I definitely want to do that because you don't know till you know.
No, my HDL, all my life's been low. No matter what I do diet-wise or whatever, I started taking a supplement for that they recommended. And my HDL has shot up. That's the good cholesterol. So along with the habits that I've done, real good stuff. Right. Oh yeah, women could use it too, and they'll know. So the women will get like some additional markers that they wouldn't test the men for. And you'll see all that stuff and then they'll try to upsell you on like other tests. They even have like and it's super expensive. They have like a cancer screening test that it detects like 50 cancers at stage 1.
Oh shit!
From blood markers. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff available now. It costs money though, because your insurance ain't gonna cover it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a wellness model. We have a sickness model.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I've said this before. I was going for my master's in public health before I dropped out of college at that point, just to work, and I got busy in the truth and stuff. I did a whole, I think I had to do like a 10 or 15-page paper and analysis on the healthcare system. It was like a whole course on how the healthcare system is here versus in other countries.
Right.
And it's run by Big Pharma. That's a real thing. And it's run by the insurance companies. Those are the two banes, and those are businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They're not designed to try to help you. They're looking to pass legislation now that they can't deny certain claims without having it reviewed and approved by the doctor. Like, because it's gotten so bad that medically necessary things
are getting overlooked.
They're declining them.
They're declining them.
They're declining them. They're declining them. Yeah.
Being disregarded.
It's and that's a whole nother topic. Very money driven. Very, very interesting stuff. Right. Oh, DEXA scan. It's a DEXA scan is the because you got that in body and stuff, but that's just a high price bioimpedance.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, it's usually only 2.5 to like 3.5% off, right? So like, it might show you 2.5 to 3.5% lower. However, that's important to you, I don't know. But like I said, my DEXA was only 2.5 points higher, and to me, that's a range that I can keep track of. So I was a little higher than what it said, which was pretty impressive to me because now I have a better idea of what that looks like. But yeah, a DEXA scan. Is DEXA is a DEXA scan. Yeah, okay, you put CFOX.
Yeah,
that's the at home. That's the at home one, and then Function Health is the.
I see it right here.
Function Health is the super thorough one.
Oh, it's got a 500 yearly health routine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and it covers the blood test twice a year. So they recommend every 6 months. Good, it's real good stuff. It's real good stuff if you want to take care of yourself and things like that. So, But anyway, so. I wanted to get into dealing with this alcohol stuff. All right, let's talk about this alcohol. So, as I was saying, for me, it falls along the lines of a mental thing. So I said I got to look this up. I'm pretty sure it has to do with, and the Function Health is HSA and FSA eligible. So if you have that program, the health savings account, you can use your health savings account for it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very certified. They have
for those that have it.
And there's a great app that gives you all the information and everything. I'm telling you, your doctor will never run these labs either because they won't proactively look at it or the insurance won't pay for it. And to get over 110 blood markers for $500, even your copay on your insurance would charge more if you went through the doctor. I don't know how they do it. I think at some point they're going to have to increase their prices.
Right.
Because
this is crazy.
It's a lot of testing.
It's a lot, and it's thorough. It's thorough. It's really. I think
I'm
due in June for my follow up too.
This is fire. I see. It shows you all the 100. In detail of what it does. Stress and aging, cortisol.
Bro, everything.
That's
everything.
crazy work.
All the different hormones.
Insulin, leptin.
All the different vitamins in your body.
You got to go to a lab to get the drug, like the blood.
Yeah. You go to a Sonor Request.
Okay.
And you schedule it.
Off.
You schedule it, and they do everything. You just go in, follow the instructions that they tell you. Hydrate, go fasted. If you're taking any supplements, they'll tell you stop a few days before, and you go. Incredible stuff. That's like fire. The information, and they don't just give you the information. Like you go to your doctor and you get the blood test, and if they talk to you at all, they only talk to you about the markers that are high. Like they don't talk to you about what's optimal, what's low.
Yep.
This thing, a doctor reviews it. A board certified physician reviews all your blood work, and he types up a report for you. And then the functions algorithms recommend certain foods.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
I'm about to look at FSA. It works.
It's FSA and HSA eligible.
Yeah, it's going down.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
So it's $42 a month, or you charge annually at $500.
I just paid it. I didn't even know they do a monthly. I just paid it up front and did it that way. Like I charged it.
There's some good stuff. So you could look up your test right now.
Yeah, I have all my results from the first test that I took.
Yeah, I really want to do this because
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And there's other stuff I haven't spoke about. Like you can do like if you're over a certain age or you know that you're like extremely obese, you like there's calcium score exams, right? Like some of the doctor that I show sometimes, Peter or Tia, I went and got one of those done because I wanted to see what my if I had plaque in the arteries of my heart. And there's a score, and that score kind of lets you know, like, you know, do you need to make lifestyle modifications? What's your percentages? Yeah.
See, this is the preventative thing.
But here's what's dope. I was ready to pay for it, and they said if I bring my wife to do it and leave a review, I'll get the scans for free, me and her.
Damn.
That's wild.
So I got the scans for free. She and I to do that, right? You can do full body MRI scans now, and they'll detect cancers as soon as stage 1. They'll detect all type of anomalies in your body and your brain and your things that the doctor would have to wait till you're broken and you're sick for.
Right.
If you have the resources for it, you can go and do and be proactive in your health with it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I think everybody, like the way like these things can give you stuff, everybody should get a full body MRI. It's just so cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like $2,000. It's like $2,000 to do a full body, and it depends on where you go, but it's like $2,000.
Yeah,
it's like $2,000 to do that. You know, if you're young and healthy and there's really nothing going on, you don't have a family history and stuff, you probably don't need to do that. But if you know and you're up there and you're able to, like, it's probably worthwhile to do it, like, because it'll set you on a. If you're the type of person that's gonna apply discipline to make the change, don't spend the money on this stuff.
And then you keep
Then that's it.
Yeah. And you're gonna keep doing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you're not gonna follow the recommendations that they give you, because we all talk about, no, doctors, they only want to work with you if you're broken. Now there's things that I'm telling you that you can pay for and do
prior
to be proactive.
Yeah.
But it takes proactive behavior too.
And that's that last slide you said, but change. You're gonna have to do the change.
Yeah. Damn, you guys are going back with each other on aging.
No, this freaking guy, man.
No, you know what? If you both go do function, it'll tell you your biological age.
So you might be
That's
like
a
80.
challenge.
So you might be older or younger based on what your blood markers are.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you guys can compare biological
I'm that
age.
much more motivated to get it done.
Right.
Ashai, let's get it done.
Just go get you a week.
And whoever's older has to pay the other person's expense on the health thing.
That's a nice wager. That's a nice wager.
It is.
I like that.
I think I'm pretty confident though.
Right. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of stuff in the health space, but you got to want to be able to make the changes and apply it and go with that, right? So anyway, let's get into the alcohol, right? See, I didn't want to plus, but I got to go through my alcohol topic and it's entirety.
Let's go.
All right. Okay.
Gotta do it.
So along that line with the mental affliction, right? I know it was very well received. Something triggered it, like it is with most topics for me. I heard something, saw something, experienced something. Oh, I know what it was. There's a camp that's basically like a fraternity. They're just drinking all the time, drinking at each other's houses, drinking. That's what it was that made me say alcohol is a big issue.
Party.
Right. Everybody just on the alcohol tip, right?
Lord have mercy.
Right. So, is alcohol a mental disorder? Alcohol, the consumption of alcohol, irresponsibly, right? And what your definition of irresponsibly be is going to be changed today.
Right.
Yes, alcoholism, also referred to as alcohol use disorder or AUD, is classified as a mental health disorder in modern medical and psychological systems. I'm going to review here's how it's recognized and understood, right? In the DSM-5, that's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the 5th edition, all right? AUD, alcohol use disorder, is listed under substance-related and addictive disorders. And, of course, I got some pictures for you. We know that that's a spirit. Give me the substance abuse one. That's the very first one. Nope, I didn't say the slide. I said I got pictures. Thank you. So it's classified under substance abuse disorder, substance-related and addictive disorders, right? So we realize that there's a spirit behind these things. Here's what it boils down to, right? It's characterized by the inability to control drinking, and the perception of that needs to change. If in order for you to have a good time, you got to have a drink, there's an inability to control drinking. If every time you go to a restaurant, you got to have a drink,
right,
you might want to look if you have an ability to control that. If every night or every Friday you got to have your bottle and you got to have your drink, there might be, and this is on the, I'm not saying it's a big issue when it's like that, but you cannot put yourself outside of these classifications if it becomes something where you have a routine around your alcohol.
Meaning you got to do it on that Friday.
You build a dependency.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
Right. I'll tell you, when I travel, when we go away for like a week or 2 weeks, I typically every evening for dinner have a drink because the Lord spared us that day.
You need to wind
Thank you,
down.
Lord.
Thank you.
I
Lord.
also like to try a local beer, a local
Right.
drink, and this and stuff like that, you know, and I'll do that. Like, that'll be my, I want to try the beer, I want to try this and stuff like that. But when I come back home, I'm dry. Like, I don't, like, I have alcohol in my house. I have good bottles and stuff, and it's really for when people come over. Like, I almost never. Like, I have stuff for years in the house.
I can attest. Like, I've
like,
seen
like a
the
good
same
bottle
bottles.
will last me a while. I remember I had you guys over, and you guys went through like 3 bottles of tequila.
Oh, damn.
Golly.
3 bottles.
But what,
crazy.
well,
Crazy.
I had a couple
have
shots.
mercy.
Over that double fist.
You still got the Habana? Or does
Oh,
that
the
go-
Havana Club?
The Havana
yeah, oh, I'm
Club.
stingy with that.
Oh,
Yeah, you very stingy. Little baby shot.
The Añejo? Oof. No, that Havana Club is something else.
It's a tequila?
It's a rum.
It's a rum.
It's a rum.
No, oh my goodness. It's almost like a cordial. It's just rum. You know what cordial is? Like Chambord. Have you ever had Chambord?
Yep.
Right? It's like something like that. But it's rum, and they don't do anything to add any type of sugar to it.
Havana
It's
Club.
just, I mean, because rum comes from the sugar anyway. But
Yeah.
they're just, Havana Club is out of this world. It's out of this world. It's no, well, they don't sell it in the States.
Yeah.
Because of the sanctions on Cuba.
Right.
So usually you can bring it in limited quantities when you travel abroad in countries that sell it. Fortunately, TJ is one of them, and Captain Abiel, whenever I need to re-up,
Hey.
will hit me up.
Oh, that's nice.
But since I don't drink often, you know, it's usually something where if somebody else has never had it, because I know you can't really get it here,
Yeah.
I'll let them have some, and then I might have a little traguito too if they're having it or something like that. Yeah, Havana Club is something else. So, inability to control drinking, continued use despite negative consequences. So it's like, you know, it's bad for you. Now they're telling you that there's no amount of alcohol consumption that doesn't have an impact on you, right? The cancer correlation has come out recently.
yes.
We spoke about it briefly on the show, right?
Yeah.
Tolerance and withdrawal. So again, some people, like, it's bad for them when they don't have it, right? And when you build up a lot of tolerance to it, like if you could throw back a lot and you don't, like,
you don't feel it, basically.
you might want to examine
That's
if
crazy,
you got a spirit of
Hey.
alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcoholism.
When my grandma was 15,
Uh-huh.
she got on vodka heavy.
Yeah.
All the way up until she was like 76, 77.
Wow.
And then she got really sick and she went into a withdrawal. The withdrawal killed her. Wow. She had drank
Wow.
all
That's
the many
nuts.
decades.
That's nuts. And if you have strong cravings for it, not occasionally, we're talking about it's something that
It pulls at you.
very habitual, right? The ICD-11, the International Classification of Disease by the World Health Organization, also characterized alcohol use disorder under mental behavior and neurodevelopmental disorders, specifically under disorders due to substance use or addictive behaviors. So, why it's considered a mental affliction? It has neurochemical impact. Chronic alcohol use alters the brain's reward system and affects neurotransmitters like dopamine, GABA, and serotonin.
So it
Right?
increases it.
Well, so if you take something artificial to increase your dopamine, lesser things don't give you the same dopamine response. And dopamine's like the pleasure hormone. Same way with pornography, how it can damage somebody, where you go into deeper and deeper, kind of more wild type of pornography.
Right.
And then when you get the real thing, it's not the same hit, right? You have a disorder, you have a spirit on you, right? Alcohol can do that to you. And that's the people that they just cannot have a good time without alcohol, right? Like they cannot enjoy themselves without it because their dopamine response is altered. Now you can hear from that the body will equalize, but pornography can do it, food can do it, right? Whatever it might be. Some people are like they call adrenaline junkies, right? That's a dopamine response. Some people, social media. Right. So, you know, I feel like I gotta get into pornography at some point soon. I've been saying it for years. I gotta get into social media. I've been saying it for years. Because all of this has spirits attached to it. All of it has spirits attached to it, right?
God dang.
Go ahead, Benson.
So it sounds like the agents of socialization are making their way back around.
Yeah, you can definitely say that. You can definitely say that. Hey, and you guys can scroll through images. They don't got to see my face the whole time. You know, I've told you guys that. Like, you want to up production value.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Come on.
I need you guys to
come on, man.
Rock with me. Not the slides when I break stuff down, but I need you guys to go over this stuff, right? So, it impacts those things chemically. And I'm laying the foundation here, and then we're going to get into our spiritual and biblical framing of this. All right. Cognitive and emotional disruption. So what happens is people who drink a lot, it's often also comes with depression,
right?
Anxiety.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Trauma or PTSD, right? Some people, man, I tell you, there's been times, and this is when I used to drink a lot. There's been times that I used to drink heavy, bro. Like, it depends on the point, right? There's a point where, okay, you're just chilling and you're having fun. Yeah. And there's a point where it's like your inhibitions are kind of loose. And then there's a point where you just start crying and you're like, oh my gosh, my life is a mess and this and that, right? Like, it's like crazy. It's like, and I've been there. I've been there. Oh my gosh, I love you so much, right? All this other type of stuff, right? All this other type of stuff. Right. And as you go through them and you show them on the screen, you know, take a little bit, let people look at them and sink them in. Right. And these are the spirits that latch onto you. Right. Dual diagnosis. So many individuals with alcoholism also suffer from another mental disorder, bipolar, depression, whatever it is. Right. So, of course, we brought down when we went into healing the wounded soul. Right. Violence. Yes. Anger and violence comes with that. Right.
Crazy word.
That's scriptural, too.
Right. The Bible doesn't use psychological terms, but it does recognize drunkenness, and we spoke about that. And I got a bunch of scripts. We're going to get to the script part, and we're going to go over all that, and we're going to get into precepts and bring it out. But it does, depending on the context of your alcohol consumption, does lift it as sinful behavior and lack of temperance, right? In excess. It is a spiritual fiction. It's linked to bondage, a lack of clarity, a separation from God's will, right? And it talks about it in terms of impairment also, right? So let me just take a look at something here, see if I want to bring some of these out at this point. And we might go back to some of them again if I bring this out. But it talks about it from a point of impairment. And I'm going to tell you something. This is one of those that people get defensive about. And if you're defensive about it, it's because you might have
spirit
problem.
You might have an appetite that's stronger than what you think when it comes to alcohol with it, right? Let's get Isaiah 28:7, right? Let's get Isaiah 28:7. Now, it uses alcohol in a similitude because we wound up getting drunken in idolatry and sin, right? But it's still letting you know that the effect of too much drink has the similar type of effect of a lack of control and discipline in yourself, right? So some of these are direct, and they're going to be, some of the scriptures we'll bring out today will be very much specifically about consumption. Some of them are used allegorically because it's trying to let you know that it's like if you had an issue with alcohol when you move into sinful behavior, right? Let's read this, Isaiah 28:7.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 7. But they also have erred through wine.
Right, so you can wind up with, how many people use, now mind you, I've always never felt like it was a good excuse, the same way I say that you can't take the depression and everything else and just rest with it, like you defend it,
right?
Like the tape clip we showed. People tend to say, oh, it was because of the alcohol. I'm of a mind that whatever you are, it's going to amplify that and bring that out, right? So if that's why, if you use the alcohol as an excuse,
Great
that was
point.
already in you.
Right.
That was already in your spirit,
An amplifier.
right?
Yeah.
It's an amplifier. That's the perfect way to put it. It'll amplify what's there,
As
right?
you said, it loosens you up.
Right. Yes. Go ahead. Come on.
But they also have erred through wine and through strong drink.
Right. And we're going to talk about the difference between wine and strong drink as well and break that down. Go ahead. Come on.
And through strong drink are out of the way.
Come on.
The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment.
So alcohol does inhibit your ability to have vision in the moment as much as people, because what's another spirit that comes with alcohol? Especially the one. No, hold on. Let me finish. You don't just throw one. I'm gonna guide you there. Relax. Yes, lasciviousness comes with it. What I'm talking about, there's a characteristic that is so typical when people are drinking, and if you tell them, I think it's too much. No, I can hold my liquor. I'm good. I'm straight. And they get angry and upset, defending the fact that they haven't had too much. They're okay. Meanwhile, you're the one that is not under the influence, and you can see clearly the type of behaviors that they're in. And what they will do is defend it and fight it, right? The spirit that's on them.
Big facts.
So they don't have the vision and they lack judgment.
They lack judgment.
Right?
Yep.
Be like, yo, you're mad loud. And they're like, right? They bugging out, right? They wilding out over there. They're like, oh, no, don't tell me. I know how to handle I'm good.
Right.
Yep.
Like, oh, maybe you want to slow down. Maybe you want to stop. And
Like, bro, why are you screaming?
right. I don't need no more. Right. They get muscles.
Oh, that too.
Right.
They
get
get
liquid
muscles.
courage, right? So alcohol is here is used. They're using alcohol as a similitude to talk about the sin of the northern kingdom, and they're saying this is what wound up happening, right? Like this is what's going on here, right? And all Israel really falls under that, right? And like there's the other one in Jeremiah, I think it says they're sottish children, sottish going
that's a
into
good one.
drunkenness, right? It says they're drunken with stupidness, right? So people with the alcohol tend to either boast and be braggadocious about how much they can consume and handle their liquor, and in reality they really can't. Because they're not their normal selves.
I could drink you under the table.
Right, I'll drink you under the table and all that stuff. But that's a spirit behind that. And usually, I'm glad you put this one up. Usually, there's something else going on. They're hurting, they're depressed, they're really, and it's all really hid behind that sort of thing, right? And we're going to read a scripture where it talks about it is for when you're sad, but it doesn't mean to the point of where your vision and your judgment has erred, right?
Think you want that verse 8?
No. Okay. I'm trying to keep it brief because we're going to come back to some of these, right? We're going to come back to some. There's repetition of destructive behavior when people have alcohol in the mix, right? And the Bible talks about the need for deliverance and transformation from those things, right? So yes, in clinical terms, alcoholism is a mental and behavioral health disorder. Spiritually, the Bible treats it as moral, sinful behavior, depending on the context of how you do it, because it's going to show you the good of wine and alcohol, and it'll show you the bad and irresponsible of it, right? So I'm not saying that alcohol is a sin. It is not. Just like money's not sinful.
Right.
It's the love of money.
Right.
Because that's one of the most misquoted lines in the scripture. Money is the root of all evil. No. The Bible actually speaks to the necessity and importance of money and money being a defense. It says the love of it. Likewise, I would say the love of the alcohol is the issue. It's not the alcohol itself.
Hey, Deacon, you know how, like you said, we read about these things, but usually when we read about alcohol and or money, it's in a negative connotation, showing you that our people misuse this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's more bad than good. That's why they think it's just all bad.
Yeah, exactly. So I've also looked at, and I've said before, they call alcohol spirits. Strong drink, right? So strong drink, it doesn't say spirits in the Bible, but it's a strong drink. And what you read is there's usually spirits behind the alcohol that comes out. I spoke about it when I did the class on the Sabbath that I did recently. And I said, you know when you drink what type of mood you want, so what you drink. And we're like, oh, let's get some tequila
facts.
because I want to be like this. Let's get rum because rum makes you like this. Let's get whiskey because whiskey makes you like this, right?
Crazy.
And then there's other spirits that come with it, right? Oh, I want to smash tonight. What type of mood I'm in? I want tequila sex. I want whiskey sex.
Damn it.
I want
Whiskey and women.
right. There's a whole thing that comes behind it, right? And you know which one you're gonna do, right? Revelings, right?
Yeah,
That's the
revelings.
spirit of revelings when it comes to alcohol, right? And that can be in moderation, festive, right? Hey, let's have a toast. Let's do this, right? Like we do when we
Feast days
travel.
and- Yep.
We'll have a drink, maybe 2 at dinner, for the day and whatever. And then we make sure that we're straight because we got
Yeah,
business.
we always have one guy that's sober.
Right
out there.
Yeah,
so.
somebody won't
guys.
have or whatever, right? And again, I know for me, I can speak for myself. I'm usually one and done. So I'll try the beer, and I might try a drink. So like in Peru, I'll do like the pisco sours, right? Because they're into pisco,
got
right?
to.
Yeah, and depending on where you go, some of them are excellent. And I also like the dark beer that they have. So I'll do a beer and I'll do the pisco, right? If we go to Guatemala, I love their beer. I think it's El Gallo, excellent beer, right? But I'm not really in love with any of the alcohol there, so I won't do alcohol, but I'll do the beer, right? So it's like that. So the origin of the term spirit.
Okay.
Now, I think I have slides for this. Yes. Okay. So we're going to show the slides, and I'm going to talk as we go over these slides. So, origin of the term spirit. It has alchemical roots. The word spirit comes from the Latin spiritus, meaning breath, soul, or essence. So remember, when I said these mental afflictions and disorders deal with the soul, all these things happen in the brain, and then the body effectively does them. Right? So everything is in the soul, which is in the brain, according to Wisdom of Solomon 9:15. Right? So in alchemical traditions, spirits were vapors or volatile substances, especially those that were distilled. So early distillation, which they say was around the 8th or 9th century, right, was seen as capturing the spirit or essence of a substance, especially wine. So think as perfume, it distills the fragrance of a flower. Distilling wine draws out its most potent spirit, right? And that's how they first started with strong drink. They were stronger versions of wine that they would make, right? Like cognac is wine, but in a strong drink format, right? It's more distilled, more fermented, so you wind up with a stronger spirit, right? Than you would with just a mellow wine, right? Then they have like port wines. Some of them could be very strong, high alcohol content.
like port
right?
tonic,
Some of them could be very subtle, right? Sometimes you read about wine mixed with water, right? Because you didn't want it as strong. You didn't want it the same that effect to be as hard in you, right? So in early distillation, wine was distilled into ethanol, all alcohol. So that whole nonsense about no, drink the clear ones, no, drink tequila because it comes from this. None of that has anything to do with anything. The poison in alcohol, the toxicity in alcohol is ethanol. All alcohol, whatever one you prefer, gets you drunk because of ethanol, right? You get that feeling because of ethanol, right? So when wine was distilled into ethanol, the resulting liquid was more potent and seemed to have an intensified effect on human behavior and mood. So they started to call it spirits because of that, right? They started to call it spirits. So alchemists and medieval physicians described ethanol as the spirit of wine. Because remember, wine is the foundation of things, and then they came with all these other ways to distill certain things, right? Like whiskey's, I think vodka's potatoes, and you could do it from grapes. Whiskey's from wheat. I think Scotch also.
Barley.
Tequila's from the plant.
Agave.
Yeah. And then you got mezcal, and so you got all the different types.
You even got the ones that come from rice that Shai had brought from Japan.
Oh, Japan has rice wine and sake, right? So there's different ones, right? So the Bible separates wine and strong drink. They don't use spirits, right? So the Bible will use things like wine, right, which is fermented grape juice, which is usually milder, and then they'll use strong drink, right, which is more potent, which was referring to fermented or distilled beverages, all right? So they don't use the term spirits, but the effect of strong drink was well known. Like we read, it clouds judgment, it stirs rage, right? it deepens sorrow, and we're going to go through all of that, right? And then you have perceived spiritual effects, right? So they knew that alcohol altered personality, behavior, and emotion, right? Like it just was called something different, but it was always present, right? You could see that there. So many believed alcohol carried a spirit behind it and that it could possess or influence the drinker, right? Damn. This led to things like gin makes you mean, wine makes you weep, whiskey makes you wild, right? Damn. Just some terms that they use for those sort of things, okay? So these aren't just superstitions. They reflect the real neurological and behavioral variability in different types of alcohol. So sugar content can alter it. So when you do mixers now, sugar shuttles it quicker, right? Into your body. And I'm going to show you how it processes in your body. Like 20%, I think, gets absorbed in the actual stomach, and then 80% in the small intestine. And then depending on if you're on an empty stomach, how fast it absorbs. That's what I tell you. When you eat and do it, it's not as bad because it blunts the absorption. Just like with sugar, if you're eating the rice with meat or whatever, right? But a lot of times when you throw mixers and juices and simple syrups and things in there, it boom escalates the response, right? That's why you'll drink.
So many you'll feel it quicker.
Yeah, or so like the stuff that they'll mix with Red Bull, right? So you'll get sugar and you'll get the caffeine hit. And forget it. Like you're just boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Damn, you look like you falling out right now, bro. You all right? Yeah. Damn, get involved. Come on, talk. All right?
Okay.
You look like, bro, he had one eye closed.
Yeah, I saw that.
We ain't falling asleep during the show.
Okay.
I thought only Captain Abiel did that.
Are you going to go into how that affects the body as well as far as health-wise?
Oh, yeah. Okay. We're going to talk about all of that. I'm laying it out. I'm laying all that out. And then we're gonna finish strong with all the scripts that go into that stuff. All right. So sugar content, you got additives, the proof level affects that, right? And then your personal psychological expectations, right? So what you think and believe the alcohol is gonna do for you, that's how you wind up, right? So in modern terms, wine is fermented from fruit, beer and ale is fermented from grains, right? And then you have other things like vodka, gin, rum, whiskey, tequila, right? Usually those are your bases. You have cognac too. There's brandy.
What was gin?
Gin? What is gin made from? I'm not sure. I'm not really a gin guy.
Is that like a Tanqueray?
Only time I was into gin was, I remember we went on a high school senior trip. That was all like somebody was able to sneak in some Head and Shoulders bottles.
Damn.
So we had soapy gin because she didn't rinse it out real good.
Damn it.
Yeah, we went on our senior ski trip, and she snuck it into Head and Shoulders bottles, and she didn't rinse it good. So we had soapy gin. Maybe that's why I didn't like it.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
So maybe that's why I didn't like it.
Can't drink it by itself. Maybe
Yeah, man.
Base of grain, wheat, or barley.
Yeah, gin was kind of nasty.
Yeah,
It is.
Gin, it makes you
Juniper
sick.
berries.
Yeah, I'm not a gin guy at all. At all.
What about the Jaegers?
Oh,
What's a Jaeger?
yeah,
Jaeger.
Jägermeister and stuff like that. Ugh,
And when you bomb
I can't
it,
mess
though,
with that
when
stuff,
you bomb it,
right?
though.
Yep. So, the spirit of wine, all right, it's a distilled essence or vapor, right? That's how it started. Today, when they talk about spirits, they talk about commercial, high-proof, distilled, alcoholic drinks, okay? Spiritual effects, each drink carries its own mood or energy. That's why it's called spirits, right? So how is alcohol processed in the body? Do I have graphics for that? Let's put that up. And then I'm going to read my notes here. How is alcohol processed in the body? Make sure you're getting them likes up on the show, family, as we go through this. I think it's important that we get this educational piece so you understand this, because then when we start reading about it in the scriptures, you're going to understand. You're going to understand. Is that all you had? I thought I had another one. Let me see. No, that's the effects. Okay, yep. How is alcohol processed? Okay, let's look at this graphic.
How alcohol affects the body.
Well, they can read that while I go through some stuff here. Let me go to this. So alcohol is absorbed quickly into the bloodstream, right? 20% through the stomach, 80% through the small intestine. The faster your stomach empties, for example, on an empty stomach, the faster the alcohol hits your bloodstream. That's what I tell you. If you're eating, it's not as bad. It blunts it, right? Because most of it is in the small intestine. Some of it starts to hit in your stomach, right? Once absorbed, alcohol travels through the bloodstream to the brain, liver, and other tissues. It affects almost every tissue in the body.
Wow.
Because it's soluble in both water and fat. It crosses the blood-brain barrier easily. And that means it gets to your dome, directly affecting the brain and its function. It's metabolized mainly in the liver, and it's responsible for breaking down the alcohol, right? There's some enzyme stuff, which I'm not going to read. That's a little too much information. But one of them is acetaldehyde, and it builds up. And this is what causes the flushing, the nausea, the headaches, right? Some people get more intense effects. I did not notice, but it says East Asian people tend to have more intense effects because they lack a liver enzyme.
Oh, shoot.
They're lower in the liver enzyme, so the alcohol hits them harder.
Damn.
So the alcohol hits them harder, right? So there's some truth to
That's interesting.
alcohol and the effects that it has.
How it
on
hits
people.
everybody
Right,
differently.
and it does hit some people different, right?
So the liver's breaking it down. That's
Yeah.
as soon as it goes in, that's what it's
Well,
doing.
it goes through your bloodstream,
Right.
just like food.
Mhm.
Just like food. I was gonna break down the calories. It's 7 calories per gram. I wanted in the background, if you guys could look at calories for whiskey, gin, tequila, vodka, like look at all of them, cognac, wine, like in the average calories in a serving for each,
Nobody
so people
thinks
can
about
see
calories when they drink.
Oh no. So
At all.
So you're dieting, right? And then Friday comes and Saturday comes.
Right.
And you throw down your alcohol, and then
Right.
you wonder why you're not losing weight. You just destroyed your whole deficit just with your drinks, even when you drink them straight. Even when you drink them straight or with diet soda, right? So elimination, small amounts of alcohol are eliminated through the breath, which is why it smells so strong on somebody's breath, because you're breathing it out. Urine is why you got to pee a lot.
Right.
And sweat, there's like a smell or an increase in sweating when you're drinking, right? Okay. And that's why breathalyzers work, because your body's
very accurate.
vapors bringing them out very accurately. Very accurately it does that, right? So why does alcohol make you feel tipsy and drunk, right? It's a central nervous system depressant.
Oh.
It slows down brain activity.
Inhibitors.
That's why you ever feel like this. That's why they moving
Like
so
the
slow.
Matrix.
And they all like, you're not drunk, and they all.
What movie was that? Hangover?
Right? So it slows down brain activity, and it alters the balance of the neurotransmitters. It alters the way the brain works, right? So you have GABA, which is gamma aminobutyric acid. It's an inhibitory thing in us. Basically, it gives us rationale and reason, right? It increases, right? It causes relaxation and drowsiness, but it brings down your inhibitions.
Yeah, them inhibitions.
All right.
Out of there.
Glutamate, it's an excitatory. So not only does it bring you down, there's an excitatory.
We party.
Right. So, right, you get slower thinking motor responses, okay? And then dopamine, right? It increases it. So you get euphoria and confidence. That's the liquid courage. Right?
Oh, that was a thing
All
back in the
that
days.
stuff. Right. Oh, that's beautiful.
No
yeah, let's put that up real
way.
quick.
200
Change it.
calories
Let's
for a
look at
beer?
the calories
For one?
for drinks. All right.
got
Let's
that
look at the calories for
Guinness.
drinks.
And if you got Cavassier double shots, man, it's over with.
Right. So look, whiskey, 111 calories. I don't know. Is that like brandy or some sort of cordial down at the bottom? It doesn't say what it is. All right.
doesn't.
Vodka maybe's 104. Wine's 120. Red. White's 120. I guess that's another type of wine. It doesn't say what particular drink it is. You got to look and know.
That
Beers
Guinness.
tend to be heavier. Yep, beers tend to be heavier, right? So this is if you're drinking these things straight, right? But now imagine you start mixing it and putting stuff in there and how many you throw back. And that's if you do a serving. Some of you got a cup like this and you'll do 2-3 of these.
Yeah.
Right?
Straight up.
So that's an
And
easy. That could be an easy 1,000.
It could be an easy 1,000 calories.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bro, that's a bad mix.
In one gulp.
Alcohol, because then
also twice.
you drink alcohol, then you want to eat a burger, you want to eat whatever the hell. It just it makes you bold to eat whatever.
Make you bold, right.
Break your whole diet.
So I'm going to give you percentages. You can put the other graphic up of blood alcohol content and at what levels it does what to your body. We give you percentages, right? Oh yeah, alcohol has a ton of calories. It's second only to fat as far as calories are concerned. Right?
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Shoot.
Oh yeah.
What's fat again, Tim?
9 per gram. Alcohol's 7 calories per gram. Now, so blood alcohol. Yeah, this is a good one. You could keep this up while we go through this. People can read that in the background. When you're at 0.02 to 0.03%, you get light relaxation and mild euphoria. For most people, that's a few sips to one accurate sized drink, which I believe is like 2 ounces of actual alcohol, right? And if you kind of stop there, you're okay.
You're cool.
You're probably all right, even at the second level, right? And remember this, because when we get to the scriptures about escalation in drinking, it's going to show when it's good. And when it's good, it's pretty much going to be these 2 levels that I'm talking about here. Anything above these 2 levels,
you're in that zone.
It's the devil.
It's the devil.
That was good.
When you get to 0.04 and 0.06, this is the percentage of alcohol that's in your blood at this point. You get lowered inhibitions, warmth, and sociability. Right? This is when
you're just floating through the
I
congregation.
just wanted to tell you, man.
No, you're not
You're not there yet.
Oh, shoot.
Now, when you're at 0.08 to 0.10, that's legal intoxication, right? This is in most states. This is what legal intoxication. Now you're drunk. Impaired coordination, bad judgment, slowed reflexes, right? 15.15%, blurred vision, slurred speech, emotional swings.
I thought you loved me.
0.30, possible unconsciousness and blacking out. I've been there.
I've seen it.
I've been there.
I've been there a couple times.
Man.
I've been at 0.30
teenage
a
years.
handful of times.
Oh man.
And it's horrible. That's the spend the night by the toilet.
Yep. I'll never do this again.
Get out the I always thought the blacking out was like, I never thought that was like a real thing.
No, blacking out is
oh man, that's happened to me twice. One time was the absolute. I stood away from alcohol for like 2 years, I think, in my early 20s. One time was, I'm talking about, it was bad, bro. Nothing worked. Not cold showers. Nothing. I heard everything that was happening, but you know, like when you watch movies and they show like little scenes.
Right.
That's literally how it happens.
Were you like petrified like this?
I was laid out.
Yeah, you couldn't move.
In my lewdness, I took some chick from the party. We were going. In my mind, we were going behind a bush somewhere. Right, evil stuff.
Right.
Impaired your judgment.
Yeah,
you was impaired,
and she was messed up too. I was far beyond her.
Right.
I don't know how far we got.
Y'all were trauma bonded.
They told me I was blocks from the party. It was a house party. My brother came with his friends. I remember I had my white Reebok Classics. They got all dragged up on the concrete, bringing me back to the house. Man, and a lot of it was off of rum. I couldn't touch rum for years after that. And rum's one of my, I like rum, right? Yeah. And I couldn't. I was bad. I thought I would stay good for a while, but you know, I had other incidents after that. But that one I remember vividly because that was blacked out, jacked up.
So were your intentions to get to that level, or how did it happen?
It wasn't. I was just having a good time.
You hit that point. You hit that 0.5.
And what happens is you like the feeling,
right?
Yeah,
the feel.
Yeah.
So you know, if you're not really trying to stay in, because see, I've been in other situations where I'm like, okay, this is my ceiling. I need to stop now.
Yep.
Because if not, I know that regardless of what my intentions are,
it's the devil.
It's the devil, right? I've been there. And most of the time I'm there. And I'll say, I need to not have any more. Right? And that's it. I'm done for today. That's it. I'm not having any more. But what happens is, and I know because I can remember the times that I went further, I knew that I was going further. And I knew what would happen.
Right.
Not to the point of blacking out, but I knew that I would get looser. I would have more of a good time.
Right. You was
I would be more aggressive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was making stronger moves on the females.
Okay. He was
look, now he awake. He like,
I'm just trying to wake up. I'm dying over here, man.
Right. So I know, like, you know.
Right.
You don't overdrink and you don't know that you
Yeah,
took
that's
more.
why I never understood the whole blacking out thing.
Yeah.
I never
There's
got
no
it.
that right.
You never got there?
No.
I haven't gotten to that point.
The
where
point
you
is
don't-
the point is you can drink to the point of blacking out.
Right.
Now I had never blacked out before at that point. The
Oh,
story
no.
that I'm telling you now,
Right,
I had
right.
never blacked out prior to that.
You can recall it.
So I remember what led up to it.
Right.
And from then on, I only let it happen like one more time.
Right.
And it was just because I started thinking about all the depression stuff in my life. So I let myself keep drinking.
Okay.
Right? Like it was just like I'm gonna keep doing that, right? And I'm telling you, there is no amount that you think that you're in control. You know when you're crossing the border. So that thing that I blacked out and alcohol as an excuse, yes, it might have pushed you more aggressively towards that, but you knew that you should have stopped.
So you gave the spirit the control.
You said, "Here's the reins."
You abused
You
it.
let him take the
You
wheel.
said, "Take my body."
Do as you will.
When you drink like that, if you're being honest with yourself, you know what you're doing when you do
give
that.
yourself over to Satan.
You're
Damn.
giving yourself over. You're giving yourself over. You know it. You know when you've done that. You know when you've done that. All right. So the tipsy feeling, what does it come? Oh, 0.4 and over, that's life-threatening alcohol poisoning. I had a friend one time on Cisco did that. I thought he was gonna die in my friend's house tub, bro.
So that's blackout and some, basically that's at that level.
It's
Your organs start
blackout
shutting down.
and it's like severe, like body can convulse sometimes. Your organs shut down.
What was that
Oh,
level?
man.
What was the level again?
That's 0.4.
0.4.
0.4.
Oh,
0.3 is blacking out. 0.5 up to 0.3 is blurred vision, slurred speech, emotional swings. So where does the tipsy feeling come from? So I mentioned those hormones and those neurotransmitters, right? So GABA increases, it relaxes muscles, you have less social anxiety. Dopamine rises, so you're more talkative, you're more confident,
Man.
and
Ain't
you're
that-
lightly
ain't that
euphoric,
truth?
Man.
right? And it's the same, like the spirit that comes with the spirits. It really is so I know we say tequila does this and that, and to some extent it's true, but the typical pattern that leads you there is the same for everybody.
Like the main one.
Right. Glutamate decreasing. So now you have slower processing and clumsy movement. And notice it said tipsy. Cerebellum effects, loss of balance, coordination. Excuse me. Frontal lobe disinhibition. This is the heavy one. Frontal lobe disinhibition.
Blame
What
it
does
on
that
the
mean?
Can we look up disinhibition?
alcohol.
Yeah, that's a
DIS inhibition, if you know how to spell that.
Dang.
DISINHIBITION. That's
There
it.
it is.
There you
There it
go.
is.
Okay, just
Ooh.
going to. Ooh.
You cooking?
Uh-oh.
Read that. Read that.
Disinhibition refers to a loss of normal control over emotions or actions, often leading to impulsive or socially inappropriate behavior.
So at that
that's
point,
lewd.
you're not in control.
Oh.
But for me, the BS is that you knew that you were heading to that point
Right.
Right.
because you feel it.
Right.
You feel it in your body.
And you gave over control.
And you gave over control. It's a loss of no more control over your emotions or your actions, and it often leads to impulsive or socially inappropriate behavior. Right?
That's low key like self deleting yourself.
Yep. Keep reading.
It can be caused by factors like brain injury,
It's the same as you got knocked on the
That's
head.
crazy work.
Come on.
Dang.
neurological disorders,
You're freaking crazy. Go ahead.
drugs, or alcohol,
Uh-huh.
and can manifest in various ways,
Read.
including inappropriate comments, outbursts, or lack of social etiquette.
Oh,
Right.
those
So,
are big.
Your frontal lobe experiences disinhibition, and that's when poor judgment and bold decisions come into place.
Yeah.
You've given over control of your soul to the drink.
Damn.
And that's in the short term. Long-term effects, chronic use. So the people, and chronic doesn't necessarily have to mean drunk all the time. Even tipsy, and I'm going to show you when we look at definitions, even tipsy, what we call tipsy is actually drunkenness. It's actually drunkenness when you say tipsy. I'm going to show you. Long-term effects. Chronic use can rewire dopamine pathways, leading to dependence. Remember, you say you can't have a good time without it? It damages the liver, brain cells and affects hormone levels. And depending on the severity, for some people, you could have lasting effects. Tolerance builds, needing more to feel the same. So to get the feeling you need more.
You're chasing a dragon.
Hold on. Well, you are. But to get the feeling you need more. But the health effects are magnified. The toxicity is magnified. Because you need more to get the same high.
Yeah.
So now it becomes even more problematic, right? So what does intoxication mean? The root word is toxic, meaning poison. The prefix in means into or within. So intoxication literally means the state of having poison inside the body. Right? They also call it alcohol poisoning, right? So it's the ethanol that's a neurotoxin. So when you consume alcohol, you are knowingly consuming a neurotoxin. All right? And again, I'm still going to enjoy my drinks occasionally. I'm still going to do that, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, it's weird because it's the one thing that we know is poison and we drink it willingly.
Right. Yeah. that's
We consume it willingly, right? So you have the acetaldehyde, right? That's the real poison behind it. This is what makes it problematic cancer-wise. It's DNA damaging. It's carcinogenic. It causes nausea, flushing, and inflammation, right? Only later is it converted to an acetate and a much safer substrate that the body can eliminate, right? So, you can recover from things, but when you're chronically using it, right, and at high volumes chronically using it,
liver disease and all
you get all types of even subtly. It might not even be like death of the liver and stuff like cirrhosis, but you might have other issues going on in your body because it alters DNA, right?
So that goes into the hormones and all that.
Everything. When you're talking about your DNA, it's a cofactor in a multitude of things, right? Everybody's talking about meat and beef, but you have a nice steady alcohol habit, right? And we showed you that beef is not what it's all cracked up to be. They're just not accounting for other cofactors of people who eat a certain way, right? The dose is the poison, though, right? The body treats low amounts of it like a chemical stressor, and it can handle it, right? Low amounts,
right?
But even low amounts chronically can be problematic, right? Larger amounts, you're poisoning your liver, your brain, and your central nervous system. And at very high levels, your breathing, your heartbeat, and your consciousness are suppressed.
Oh, hammers.
It can get to the point of fatal intoxication. Like there's that movie Leaving Las Vegas with Nicolas Cage. Excellent movie as far as looking at how visceral it is for somebody who is a real alcoholic and just kind of looking at the sins and the struggles that people have with them. Elizabeth Shue was like a prostitute in there. And wow, it's one of those movies that like kind of gets you like
cerebral.
Very it to me it's what Leaving Las Vegas is what Requiem for a Dream was for drugs. So Requiem, if you've seen Requiem for a Dream, that's a bugged out movie, bro. Have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
I don't remember it.
Oh my gosh, bro, that's one of those movies. Remember I saw like Ex Machina is one of those that have you thinking for days after.
Yeah.
Requiem for a Dream. Will have you, wow.
Dream.
It shows addiction on many levels, but the main one was heroin. Marlon Wayans is in it, and what the hell is she was the Hulk's girlfriend in the Eric Bana Hulk. I forgot her name. Requiem for a Dream was like real like visceral as far as like showing you drug use and how it affects people.
Right.
You seen it?
No.
Crazy flick.
I gotta
Crazy
check it out.
flick.
That's the one
Jennifer
you said.
Connelly.
Had you thinking?
Jennifer Connelly.
That's when you said that.
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream.
Okay.
And then Leaving Las Vegas is like that, but for alcohol. But Requiem for a Dream is crazy work, bro. I'm telling you, Requiem for a Dream is wild. Like,
I'm gonna check it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
me
bro,
too.
It's
It's older.
bro. That
You
movie's
sent it to
heavy,
me?
bro.
From
That movie's heavy.
Send it to me.
Yeah.
It's trippy and it's heavy, bro. Like it's a little cringe. It's a little cringe. The stuff
Yeah.
that people like.
Damn.
Yeah.
They was seeing spaceships on Bankhead.
No, like she got this guy like, so she has a boyfriend, but like they were so into the drugs and the imbalance of dopamine that he sent his girlfriend knowing that she would have to do like some holdout show and have trains
Just
run
to
on her and
have it.
stuff.
Damn.
Just to get
Just
the
to
drugs.
Just to get the
the bag,
drugs, and he was all right with her getting the drugs
Oh,
to come
no.
back to that.
Oh,
It's
Yeah, that's crazy.
it's
work.
wild, and it also shows the subtlety, because I think like his mom got like strung out on a like over the counter thing, Crazy movie. But Leaving Las Vegas for alcoholism, very good flick. But he drank himself to death is the point why I thought of it, right? Alcohol, it disrupts the GABA and the glutamate, which are neurotransmitters. It impairs cognitive processing. It slows reaction times. It distorts perception. And that's when you think like, oh, it can manifest in you trying to beef with me, you're being aggressive.
Right.
It can manifest in unwanted advances, and you think somebody is into you and they're not.
Right. We've seen it.
So it jacks up your perception
and you
in
think
general.
somebody is into you and it's not. Right. And it does that because the brain is being poisoned.
Right. Or you end up in the bathroom crying to yourself.
And at high doses, it shuts down the brainstem, leading to unconsciousness or death. So that time that I blacked out, I was experiencing brainstem shutdown. I'm surprised I'm not bugged out. Or maybe I was, and it fixed my bugged outness.
The Lord can heal anybody.
The Lord stepped in.
All right.
It says his word cures all things.
That's it.
Yeah, right. So, what are the effects and the toxic indicator? Flushed skin, it's a histamine response and acetaldehyde buildup. Nausea and vomiting is because of gut inflammation and liver stress. Headache is because of dehydration and toxin buildup. That's the hangover feeling. Slurred speech, impaired brain muscle coordination, blackouts and memory loss. So, you know, depending on who you around, some people have some trauma in their lives and they cannot remember them because your hippocampus was disrupted.
Wow.
So you have no recollection of events that might have happened to you.
Damn, based off the alcohol.
That's based off of the alcohol. Right?
You blamed it on the alcohol.
Yeah. And it could lead to coma or death, right? So
as far as the headaches and stuff, Deacon, if you drink lower quality, they say if you drink lower quality, and I feel like I experienced it, you get the headaches and so forth. What is up with that?
It has nothing to do with
so
that.
It has nothing to do with that.
No, you might have other things in there like polyphenols and other sediments and things that are in there. And sometimes there's additives. Like Cisco had something else in there. Like I know because it's not very high alcoholic, but Cisco would jack you up like back in the day, right?
Gotcha.
So there's sometimes they add things in there and they don't necessarily have to list them clearly. But ethanol's the main driver of the stuff. No matter how you cut it, it's ethanol.
That's
how
what it
quickly it affects you and how potently can be other things, which is why they've learned to mix them. It's not just that they taste good. When you have a cocktail that's like delicious, frothy, and cold.
Yeah.
If I got a glass of whiskey, I slow sip that unless I'm trying to take a shot, right? Or even tequila or rum, right?
Right.
But if it's in a cocktail, you'll sip that thing like you could not believe, right?
Can I get another?
That's facts.
And it'll go crazy. And it'll go crazy, right?
Yeah.
No, before we get to the call, I want to get the definitions that I listed, right? I want to get the definitions, and then I gotta jump on the scripts. All right, it's already 9:12. I gotta spend at least this last hour on scripts, right? So I wanted to look up the definition of drunk. Did I have tipsy as one? No, but I'm gonna want the thesaurus for after we look at drunk, because drunk and tipsy are synonymous, but we never treat it that way.
That's a cool word.
We say tipsy because it sounds like when you say a white lie, right? When you say he told a white lie or a little lie,
it's diluted.
Right? It's not that bad, but a lie is a lie, right? Read that. Drunk.
Being in a temporary state in which one's physical and mental faculties are impaired by an excess of alcohol. Intoxicated.
Now, look up the thesaurus for drunk synonyms.
I'm sorry. When somebody say you inebriated, you all the way.
That's facts.
You up there.
You inebriated.
Look at a strong match for drunk.
Tipsy.
Stoned.
Tipsy. So all this time, we're like, I'm not drunk. I just like to get tipsy.
Sloshed.
I like to get drunk.
Total. Damn. That brother, total. Damn. He glazed over.
You stewed.
You stewed. Befuddled.
You're plastered. You're crocked, brother. Buzz, that's another one. I only drink till I'm buzzed.
Right. Damn, that's true. We use that.
These are all synonyms for drunk.
Damn, they added lit in there.
Right.
It don't sound bad when you say you buzzed though. That's the thing.
Right.
You gotta be like, man, you inebriated.
Nah, you inebriated. You jacked up.
Plastered. Oh my god.
Yeah, you're tanked.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You wasted like GTA.
What else we got definition wise? I know we got the caller. We'll get to the caller. What else we got definition-wise? I sent you a list. Go through all of them. What's going on? Drunkard. Because, right, we're going to bring out some scriptures about a drunkard.
That's right.
What is a drunkard?
A habitual drinker of alcohol who is frequently intoxicated.
And we've established that intoxicated is tipsy,
right?
Is lit,
right?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And frequently,
right? You frequently
So if you got a drink a night habit, if you got to drink every weekend,
right?
If you got to drink every time you go out to dinner, right?
You sloshed.
You sloshed.
A tippler.
You sloshed. You're a drunkard. You're a drunkard. We always think the extreme.
Right.
Right?
Right.
If you have to do it every time, like I knew a brother I used to travel with, and this was before I knew he had an issue with alcohol. And he would always have to get a Bloody Mary when he was at the airport if we had time. And he was like, nah, it's just a thing. Whenever I travel, I get a Bloody Mary. Little did I know this brother was an alone drinker, a social drinker, an angry drinker, a lying drinker, all that stuff like that.
So you had the thought that might be the case at that time?
I it was benign to me because we tend to see things through the lens of how we are. And since alcohol, except for when I was a teenager, maybe early 20s, never really had a hold on me after that. You kind of tend to passively look at it from your perspective.
Yeah.
And not realizing that people can have addictive disorders and things that's subtly very addictive to them. And it wasn't until much later, years later, that I realized that this particular brother had a problem. This particular brother had a problem. To the point where it's kind of really destroyed his life, his marriage. He's
in the wind.
There's been times that he's been put out. This last time he chose to leave off of it, and it leads to more stuff and more erratic behavior. A lot of times, like we read earlier, it comes with other types of behavior and stuff like that with it. What else we got definition wise? Intoxicated,
affected
by... read intoxicated again.
There's that word again.
Because remember, it said a drunkard is a habitual and someone who's habitually intoxicated. Go ahead.
Affected by a substance that intoxicates, drunk, inebriated.
And notice they're all the same strength of word.
Right.
Tipsy is a strong synonym for drunk.
Dang.
Lit is tipsy's the strongest. Sloshed and lit are also strong, not weak. They're strongly associated. They mean the same thing. They mean the same thing. What else we got?
Mentally or emotionally?
No. What else word-wise? Word-wise.
Surfading.
All right, because we're going to read about surfading when we get to the scriptures, right? Go ahead, come on.
Excess, an excessive amount.
And here's the thing. An excessive amount is not really subjective. An excessive amount is the percentages that I went over. And while you're not going to know what those percentages are, but the minute you start to feel the tipsiness, you've gone over.
Somebody's tolerance is higher than someone else's, so that even though his tolerance is higher, he's still in a super...
Still surfing. Because remember, if his tolerance is higher, he needs more.
Right. That doesn't justify you drinking more.
No, it does not. So if you need more to get the same buzz, you got to examine yourself.
Right.
You got to examine yourself. All right. What else we got? We're going to read about rioting. And nope, scroll down, because riot's going to go to those, right? Scroll down. Unrestrained revelry. Unrestrained revelry.
Well, that last one is crazy.
Right?
The archaic.
Unrestrained revelry. Right. Yeah, archaic. Loose, wanton living. Profligacy. I don't even know what the hell that means.
Damn. That don't even sound good.
Sound black.
It do sound
sound like something we do. Sound like something black and Latinos do. I gotta say Latinos because then people think I'm
right
because they look at me and you're not black. I'm black. I'm just not black like this.
Right.
That's right.
I'm just not black. What is profligacy? If I'm even pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, man, look that up.
Profligacy.
Now you just like to say the word.
Come on, you take it so long to get it all right.
Damn.
Now you hit it on
Shameless.
point.
A shameless, dissolute man.
Dissolute.
Shameless dissoluteness. That's like you see whenever whenever something go wrong in the fast food restaurant, our sisters twerk.
Right.
You see that shit?
That is
You see that
shameless,
shit?
dissolute.
Yeah, for real.
Their answer to everything is to twerk on the table.
Man.
Ridiculous.
Right?
Man.
That's reckless extravagance.
That's profligacy. Profligacy.
So yo, you profligacy.
You profligacy.
You a
Profligate ass.
profligacy.
Why are you being so profligalous?
Yeah, profiggery.
Profligacy.
Profiggery.
What you say about my mama?
You profiggery.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Right.
So I'm gonna take that as a sign of disrespect. Oh snap! Hey, before I jump into these scripts, we got a caller. You said we got. Is he still on the line? Or he
Yes,
jumped
sir.
up?
He's still there, but I had a question real quick.
What's up?
So on top of the SIM card, should we get a profligacy card?
Profligacy card.
So you're being
You're being profligalous.
Damn,
You're being
profligalous.
You're a profligalous ninja.
Yeah,
You're being profligalous.
Damn.
We should get a profligacy card. Damn.
Yes.
Catch them
Profligalous
brothers
ninja.
too.
We gonna make it happen.
Catch them.
Damn.
Bro, how many times that we had to correct the brother on drinking and they get pissed off?
A
Yeah.
lot. It happens more often than not.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It's wild. It's a spirit.
Profligalous
There's a
brother.
spirit behind it. There's a spirit behind it. Hey, shalom. What's going on, bro? Most High Christ bless. Welcome to the Power Hour Plus. Damn, beard looking strong, bro.
Yeah.
Golly.
You hear me? You hear us, bro?
Hello?
Yeah, you hear us?
Yeah, oh.
Hey,
the same thing that happened last week.
Yeah, man. Yep. You just looking around. Most High Christ bless. Bro, your beard looking strong, bro. You rocking the MVD?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Man.
sir.
Oh, all
Got
praises.
bright and fresh on.
Oh,
Okay,
that bright and
okay,
fresh.
okay.
Okay, I feel you. That's a good one for work.
Yes,
That's a
sir.
good one for work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's
Wait,
going on,
man.
bro?
Oh, by the way, shalom, most high in Christ bless to everybody, including you, D. I got a question, and before I get started, I got a comment. You guys just stay in the spirit, man. You
All
guys
praises.
are always in the spirit. It's like questions that I have, all of a sudden, Power Hour Plus comes on, and it's a topic talking about what I was actually thinking about.
It's not just you,
earlier
brother.
that
That's why it says that there's nothing that we're dealing with except that's common to man. So you feeling that way, and trust me, there's a lot of other brothers and sisters that's feeling that way too, bro.
Yes, sir. And in regards to today's topic, I actually had a question about that. So Passover, I did what we were supposed to do and everything like that, and I had a cup of wine. I kind of dreaded it because I don't like to drink alcohol. I used to drink like fish, but I just got to that point in my life where I was like, it's not my thing. So for decades now, I haven't drank anything. But getting into the truth, I want to make sure I follow everything correctly. But I wanted to ask, is there like for lack of better expression, a workaround that I can do instead of like drinking alcohol and stuff on certain feast days?
Listen,
like,
you don't outside of breaking the bread, you don't have to drink. There's feast days that I don't take a drop, and most of the time I don't, and it's not because of some principled thing or whatever. It doesn't call me like that, like it just it's different for everybody, and then there's some where like I had a little Johnny Walker Blue Label, which is pretty expensive. I brought my little bottle one feast day because I said, okay, I want to drink today. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm gonna have at least one, after the class is over or whatever it is. So, but no, there's nothing that says you have to. And actually, as we start getting into the scripture, I'm gonna show you some warnings and condemnation about it. But we're also gonna show you some positive aspects and when it's appropriate and when it's not. I know I'm going to focus. See, I feel like I got to focus more on the warning and condemnation piece because I think that's where people have more of an issue. You seem to, just by questioning it the way you do, have a right head about it as it is. And the Bible specifically talks about what its purpose for and when to do it. What it doesn't clarify, and this is where we need that spiritual breakdown of it, is what is enough for it to be as good as life to man, for example, right? And it talks about moderation. And I think that's where it's, and what you're really asking is a question about moderation. And that's where it's disturbed. And I would say, if you just want to go purely scientific, moderation is those alcohol percentages, right?
Right.
But if you want to look at what the spirits are and what they feel like in that moderation, I'm going to run that back real quick into the blood alcohol parts. Let me get my notes here real quick. And I'll tell you the signs that you look for to know if you're in that moderate range, right? So if you're feeling lightly relaxed and mildly euphoric, you good. If you have slightly lowered inhibitions and you're feeling warmth and more social, then you're fine. But when you start feeling like your legs don't feel right, your arms, your vision, right? When you start feeling that your judgment, right?
That perception is
when
off.
When you feel like you want more because you're chasing a feeling that the alcohol is giving you more than the environment that you're in is, you've probably stepped into a realm where you're ready to give over control to the spirits that you're consuming.
Okay. For me, back when I used to drink, you know, I used to drink like a fish, but like I never got violent or anything like that. I actually become a big jokester and stuff like that. I might steal the brother's drink and then go replace their drink and stuff like that, just to play around and stuff like that. But,
Yeah, I mean, some
you know,
people
like
look good. Yeah, like I wasn't an angry drunk. I didn't want to fight or nothing like that. But I know people that I used to run with in my circle that I'm like, damn, are we? We hanging out with we hanging out with Joey.
Again,
damn,
man.
are we drinking and hanging out with Joey?
Right.
Because every time we drink and hang out with Joey, we gotta fight.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to hang out with y'all tonight if Joey's gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Like for example. So there's individuals that's like that. You know, like I had a brother that if he was drinking Jack and Coke that night, I had to stop drinking because I knew he was gonna get into a fight. And I had to watch his back. You know, I was like, damn, now he messed up my night. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, so you kind of know, right? And like Officer Vane was saying earlier, it'll amplify what you really are. Same thing with money, same thing with anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like what you are, it'll amplify that. And if you're not that, it's not. But again, when you step over those thresholds, those earlier percentages and anything beyond what I just read, I would say, in my opinion, that you've stepped over the moderation zone. You've stepped over the moderation zone.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, man.
Thank
Good,
you so
good,
much,
good,
D.
good to see
I
you always
appreciate
working, bro, and you listening in while you working. Hopefully we make your shift a little better while you listening, bro.
Guys, listen. Once I found out who I was, about 3 minutes.
It froze up on us. Damn, we getting a nice testimonial and it froze up on us.
The original royalty, I'm not listening to it. I got even I forget the name of that band. There's just no words. It's just straight music and stuff. I got Benjavites. I even got the brothers that the album for the brothers that got the intro to the Power Hour.
Oh,
They
got you.
need to drop another album. They need to drop that other album.
Hey, you want to know what's funny? They just sent me the playlist for the new Northern Kingdom album to review. So I just haven't listened to it. I think yesterday I got all the songs from Officer Eliab in Puerto Rico. And he's been hitting me, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but he's been hitting me like every day, like letting me know, like, yo, what you think? I haven't listened to it yet. So I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll listen to it a little bit and I'll see what's up.
D, please do.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. He wants to get he wants to get my blessing on it. So I gotta listen to the song. So yeah, I got it sitting in my Telegram right now. All the songs from the next album. So I gotta hear it.
And then when it comes to throughout the day, I'm just listening to different classes and stuff throughout the day. I try my best to stay in the scripture because I spent my whole life. Everybody has a past, you know, and I was just I was a knucklehead.
Yeah.
So now I got to that point in my life where I'm like, yo, so Christ is black. The Latinos are my family. So are the Native Americans. We've been lied to. We're the first victims of divide and conquer. And then on top of that, we're the first victims of identity theft. Like, I can't go another day without knowing as much as I can. Although I do slip up and I'm not able to read that's an excuse. I don't end up reading my 4 chapters a day, which is my fault. But at the very least, I stay in the scriptures. I stay tuning into a class.
Right.
Like I came onto the show late because I was listening to Captain Yuri's class and stuff like that he did a couple of days ago. And I was like, oh snap! I noticed the time and I was like, oh man, I'm about to miss Power Hour. And stuff. So I jumped on.
You good, man?
Hey,
but let me ask you this. Did you reach out to go to the school to keep the Sabbath yet?
Right.
Man, I've been on top of it. I wasn't able to come. They didn't give an answer for last Sabbath. But I've been talking to Officer Josiah as well as Officer Rubin from the Miami school.
Okay,
and,
all right.
I'm gonna give them a call sometime around 9 Eastern Standard, so that way I can get an answer and find out what's going on.
All right, bro.
I'm staying on top of this.
Make sure, bro. Make sure you get there. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna change your life, bro. It's gonna change your life. There's a big difference between learning and studying, and then once you start fellowshipping, bro, it's a whole nother level, bro. It's a whole nother level. So
yes,
make
sir.
sure you stay
I
this way.
agree. I already see it, you know, amongst the brothers that I see. You know, I like I said, I've been tuning in for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And I noticed, for example, Officer Tobias, where he was even just with his speech and the scriptures from a few years back to now is a big difference.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
Well, he transformed too. He was all scrawny and crazy looking.
Right.
Oh man, with the afro.
Right. Now his beard grew. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? He
right.
got good with the scripts, the reading. You know, he put on a little muscle. You know, he grew up.
Who makes a man out of
He just got to control Frank.
That's what I know.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna continue on with the topic. I appreciate the call in. All right.
Oh, praises.
Have a good shift, bro. All right, Most High Christ bless. All right, let's get Proverbs 21. Let's jump into some. Let's jump into some verses. Jump into some verses. Damn, I knocked my damn my thing is charged already though. I knocked my my charger for my
The laptop.
the laptop. Right. Let's get Proverbs 21. Let's go into what the scripture says on drunkenness. Come on.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 1. Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging.
Notice what it says about these things, right? And you know, and the thing is, we know this deep down, right? I hate the sound. I feel like I'm so echoey. I'm not persuaded, bro, with this setup.
Really?
He's been telling me that it's better, but I hate the way it sounds.
You think it's the headphones or?
No, it's not my headphones.
It's
my
like
headphones stay
there's
the
an
same.
It's an echo.
Oh,
It wasn't
so somebody did something now because now it changed. They sneakily making adjustments and stuff like
It
that.
On
does.
the fly, they like, wait a minute.
Right.
Why didn't they just do that from the beginning?
Here.
Goodness.
Might check 1, 2.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they did something.
Read Proverbs 21. Come on.
Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging.
Right. So it's letting you know it's a mocker. It's raging. It's giving you the spirits, right? That alcohol will put on you. Go ahead. Come on.
And whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise.
This is what I'm talking about. So what you were saying, that the blackout thing you don't buy. No, you do black out. But you know. Remember I was talking about earlier, you know that the next one is going to take you to a place.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You right? You know.
You get possessed. That's what I'm trying to say.
You know when
Yeah.
to stop. You know that there's a point where you should say, I'm good.
Right.
I'm not going to continue. And even if it's not something social that might happen, just think of the fact that you're opening yourself up to the susceptibility
Right.
for more spirits to come with it. Look at this image
City
that he
without
put
walls.
up.
Right,
Look at this,
right.
bro. And you guys, you could throw them up. You don't need my okay to throw it up. If you feel like one of these pictures that I sent you is appropriate,
Throw it up.
if it's not, I'm going to tell you that it's not. But if you feel strongly in the spirit that it's appropriate, this is it. You're partying, you're drinking, right? Read the verse with this picture up on the screen. Come on.
Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. And whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise.
Right. So you can't be deceived by this thing, right? You wind up being deceived thereby, right?
So deep. So you basically ask the spirit to possess you.
Yes. It's invoking the spirit.
Right.
You
Damn.
deceive
It's
yourself.
invocation of the spirit.
Hey, I don't know if you know what you did there, but you used a alcoholic term to explain something. You said you wind up being jacked up. I thought that was profound. What he did there.
Hit that red. Hit the red. Hit that red with.
Hey, don't touch my board. Don't touch my board.
I said wind.
Wind.
Right,
We
right.
heard you.
I know I got the New
red.
York
Hit the
accent.
red. Hit the red.
Maybe you didn't hear the D at the end of it. I said you wind up.
I got deceived.
I pushed the button.
I like that sound bite. That's fire. That's fire.
No, but that's heavy though, dude. That's heavy.
I pushed the button.
That's heavy because it
I
deceives
pushed the
you. Because you know
button.
you're about to get to that point, but you deceive yourself and
Right.
you continue on.
Right. Let me get Proverbs 31, right? Because we know a lot of people go here when they think of drinking. But I'm going to show you a bunch of scriptures that have to deal with alcohol. Let's get 31 and let's start at 3.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 3. Give not thy strength unto women.
Right. So we've gone over this when we've gone over the woman thing. Give not thy strength, what that really goes into. Go ahead. Come on.
Nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
Right. You don't want to give your strength up to either women or your ways to things that destroy. Because doesn't the scripture refer to us as kings?
That's
Right.
A royal priesthood.
That right. That right.
So it's saying don't give your strength to things that destroy your kinghood, right? You got to look at that and examine that. Let's get Sirach 33 and 22 real quick. We're going to come back to Proverbs 31, okay? Come on.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 22. In all thy works, keep to thyself the preeminence.
Right. That doesn't just mean amongst other people.
Right.
Keep your authority, right? Because too much preeminence, like diatrophies, can be a bad thing.
Right.
Goes into narcissism, like we spoke about last week, right? But this is talking about what we're reading here about not giving your strength unto women or your ways to that which destroyeth kings. And I'm going to show you alcohol, if not applied in the moderation that we discussed and that we'll discuss again, is giving your strength up. You've given up your preeminence. It's like you said when you gave control, you invoked the spirit.
Yeah.
It's going into that. You were going to say something?
You got to keep under your body.
Right. You got it. That's 1 Corinthians 9, right? Read this again from the top.
In all thy works, keep to thyself the preeminence. Leave not a stain in thine honor.
Right, because what you've done is you've left that stain in your honor behind that. Right. It becomes a mocker to you. Right. Let's go back. Proverbs 31 and 3.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 3. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
Nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. But let's read on. She's talking about alcohol. Go ahead, come on.
It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink.
Now I'm going to explain and expound upon that. It's talking about not going beyond the moderation point that we've discussed, right? That's what it's really going into when it says that. It don't mean that you don't, because what you're going to read, we're going to read later where it says a bishop should not be given to wine. It's going into this, that you don't give your strength to it. You know where to stop. You know where to pace it if the night is long, right? And you've run through, okay, now maybe I can have another or whatever it is.
Cup of water or something.
Right, whatever it is, right? And I don't know how much it really dilutes, but it'll help you process more as far as urinating and stuff like that, right? But go ahead, come on.
Verse 5, lest they drink and forget the law.
Right, because that goes back to what we read in Proverbs 20 and 1, right? And it says, you won't be wise if you've given yourself to these things, right? It says, lest they drink and forget the law. Go ahead, come on.
And pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted.
Right. So what winds up happening is you've given yourself over to these things. Go ahead, come on.
Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy heart.
Right. Why is it saying that? Because if they're ready to perish, they're on their last end.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You ever see like a movie where they give them the alcohol before they amputate them or they do something, whatever it is, right?
He's like,
it's talking about situations like that, right? Give strong drink of him that's ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Why? Because there's a counter effect, right? There's a little letter next to mine when it says of heavy hearts, and it says bitter of soul, right?
Yep.
That does not mean you drink to drunkenness, because we're going to read more scriptures that is going to talk about being drunk is sinful behavior.
You know, just to point out, too, what's heavy in Sirach, it talks about too much drinking, it'll cause your soul to become bitter. This is the flip side where your soul's already bitter, and it's a way to
alleviate.
Cheer up and alleviate.
So that's why dose is in the poison, right?
Right.
The poison's in the dose, excuse me. So that's why we went through those first two levels, and anything above that, out of like the 5 or 6 that we showed, that's beyond.
It's going to hurt you.
That's going to lead to that bitterness.
Anything in those first 2 phases, right, where maybe you feel warmth, sociability,
right,
a little bit of looseness of inhibition, right? Cool. You know when you've given yourself. You know that the next drink, right? You know, you understand what you're feeling, and what you're chasing is the feeling. And now you've given over yourself into it. It deceives you.
That's heavy.
It deceives
Evil
you.
communication.
Right? Go ahead. 6.
Verse 6. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts.
Come on.
Let him drink and forget his poverty.
Right.
And remember his misery no more.
Right, because in that moment, it's going to what? It's going to relax you. It's going to make you warm, more sociable, release some inhibitions.
That brother need a break.
Right. In that moment, he taking a little break. Right? But again, the frequency of this, how often you do it, right? Remember, I read earlier, a lot of times people are depressive when they do it and things like that.
Right.
That's it's analgesic.
Oh,
Have you heard the term analgesic?
Oh, I heard eisogesis, but
or palliative.
Palliative.
Right? It's something that won't treat the actual sickness.
Right.
It masks the symptoms.
But it will give you comfort.
It's the wrong comfort.
it'll give you comfort. Well,
This might be
momentarily,
Southern
it
comfort.
could be okay. Bars. But then you got to get to a point where you actually get to the root of the problem.
Right.
See, what's not said here is that you apply the scriptures to imply, to deal with the heavy heart, not the alcohol. It's a little respite. That's why I say it's palliative. It's analgesic, right? I'm looking at different medicinal terms. It doesn't treat what's really eating you. It just kind of helps you cope with it a little bit in the moment, right?
Right.
And you move from there. Let's get Hosea 4:11. Hosea 4:11.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, and verse 11. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart.
Right. Letting you know what?
That's a banger.
The heart is the brain.
Right.
So it's letting you know women and wine. Whiskey and women.
Whiskey and women.
Yeah.
That's my new joint.
Yep.
It says it alters your state.
Yeah.
It alters your state. I'll tell you,
Wow.
I was never really let me not say never. I was never a simp. I've had simp moments with women. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie about that. I've actually always been very firm. Like for the most part, I was the one that was like Boomerang. Like I was the player,
Right.
And I don't say that proudly, understanding what I was doing.
Right.
You're making whores of our sisters.
Right.
But women never had sway over me from the emotional aspect. A handful of incidents that I could say yes, where I was tore up, maybe 3 times in my life
There's always that
women,
one.
right? Like I can say that I've been there like probably 3 times, right? But for the most part, nah, right? I wasn't like that. But there's some brothers that do that. I will say this, looking at it in hindsight of the things that I am now ashamed of, right? Because I know that the ends thereof of those things was going to be death. I was a simp in the sense that women drove my behavior.
Drove you to drink.
That part. No, just your
Or
behavior
drink.
in general.
My women, meaning, how many times it wasn't until years later that I realized how many good nights I had with my friends, but I didn't think they were good nights because I didn't get the digits or I didn't smash.
Right. Yep.
How many times I altered plans or changed something because I was chasing a woman and I was chasing tail, so to speak.
To that level. I see what you mean.
How many women have I damaged because I was chasing tail, and they were really into me in a way that was meaningful for them.
Right.
So I think of those things now in hindsight, and read this again. This verse holds true.
Verse 11. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart.
Right. It changes.
Yeah,
it
that's
changes the way you do things and perceive things. I mean, you read that in Ezra's, right? With Zerubbabel.
Yeah.
And he tells you the strongest thing is women. Don't men do this? Don't men do that? Right?
I think wine.
And it even mentions wine.
I thought I bought my first Beamer for me, and in some respects I did. I like the performance. I like what it is. But what are you trying to get? You want the magnet.
But really it's for the woman.
Right.
Yeah.
You're looking for the P magnet.
Right. That part right there. Yeah.
I did like the way I would dress up, like when I was corporate. I was working in banking, and I mean,
Deacon
You was
Suavemente.
suited. That Deacon Suavemente.
I'm usually relatively humble, but I knew what I was doing.
Right.
And I was.
You would capitalize.
You know
on it.
I was
what
hooked
was
up,
up.
bro.
Yeah.
You know what was up.
Like I knew how to accessorize my stuff and all that. Like
Right.
like
in a manly,
Get that
manly
joint-
way.
joint
tailored.
I knew the
Yeah.
looks I was getting and all that stuff like that, and it drove me to do it more so.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
The dopamine was going up.
So and same thing.
That's
So,
heavy,
so
man.
alcohol does that. Women do that. Right.
Takes
That's
away the
why-
heart.
Right. That's why when you read in Revelation, it says he's the day not defiled by women. Goes into doctrines, but also go into women too. Right.
Yeah.
Those things were a driver, and alcohol does those type of things for you. Right. Alcohol does those types of things for you. Let's get Isaiah 5:11. Isaiah 5:11. We're gonna go kind of fast because I'm just going over examples. I laid the foundation of stuff, but I want to get through a lot of these verses and kind of unpack them because the scripture says a lot. I'm not saying I got every scripture or every verse on alcohol, but it does say a lot when it deals with it. Right? Isaiah 5:11.
The book of
go ahead, my bad.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 11. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that may follow strong drink.
And those are the people that they're thinking about the alcohol. Some do it right when they wake up in the morning.
Right.
Some of them, they know that they're going to drink that night. Some of them, they know. You even have friends that you associate drinking with. And you know that when you get together, that's
Drinking
part
buddies.
of what you're going to do.
That's it.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, I know when we hang out, drinks is flowing. Right?
Mhm.
I mean, kind of examine that.
Get the section.
Like what? Like why that association? Why does that have to be part of it? I tell you, when I started to stream, minimize my alcohol consumption, I realized how much more fun. First of all, you save money.
That's
Oh
right.
man,
That's right.
Right?
mad money.
How much more fun you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and again, I don't want to knock somebody that can control it and they drink and they enjoy that. And I'm talking about control based on what we saw and what the scriptures say is control, not what you think was your control, right? Because your judgment is not there. It's
already went out
impaired.
the window.
It already went out the window, right? When you kept pushing past that point, right? But, you know, I mean, you got to examine these type of things. Go ahead. Come on. 5 and 11.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, till wine inflame them.
There's a little word next to mine, and it says pursue them.
Mm.
It says pursue. So the wine pursue them. That you can't do nothing without the alcohol.
The demon is like chasing them.
Yes. Yes. Right. One day, like a horror movie, I never saw it. What's called It Follows.
It follows, yeah.
Right? That's the alcohol. That's the spirit.
Man.
That's the spirit.
That thing was scary.
Right? I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, but I seen the previews.
I gotta check it
and
out.
I know the
I gotta
premise
check it
is
out.
like this.
Niggas just be popping
Right.
up out of nowhere.
I know the premise like this thing catch up.
Nah,
like even if they got on a plane, it like days later it would catch up to them.
Yes.
Right? And these
Oh, yeah,
are
that's so creepy.
these are your spirits that you've not exercised with the scriptures. Right? And they chase after you. Right. That's this brother right here that drinks alone, right? That drinks alone. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy,
All right.
man.
Let's get Habakkuk 2 and 15. Habakkuk 2 and 15. We're gonna what's the scripture say about drinking? What's it say about drunkenness? All right. Habakkuk 2 and 15. Habakkuk 2 and 15.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink.
Right. So then you got people that's now again, this is similitude, right? But it's using alcohol. Go ahead, come on.
That putteth the bottle to him,
Uh-huh.
and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
Right, because it's now. So this is really going into the lies
that.
and doctrines of Babylon and America and everything
Right,
else, right?
right.
But it uses alcohol as the example from that, right?
Yep.
This is the Diddy effect. Right?
No oil. Dang.
Well, you know that. I mean, that's the extreme end of
Right,
it, right?
right,
But
yeah.
you know, you ply people with alcohol,
That's real,
right?
though.
And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, come on, you're not gonna drink.
Yeah,
Oh,
come
come
on.
on, have a
Yeah.
drink
Have
with me.
one. Come on.
Yeah, come on, right?
Yeah.
You know, Bo,
Dang.
I've been taken advantage of this way.
Man.
And I didn't realize it till after I got done. Right,
What just wait? Hold on. What just?
bro? A woman. I went to hang out with a woman.
Right.
And I didn't realize it until I was in the world. We did our stuff, and then like she, after that it was kind of sparingly type of thing.
Right.
And I realized that she did me how I used to do it.
So you woke up with your socks off.
She kept buying me drinks.
Damn.
And I was like, wait a second. I said, wait
Where
a
my
second.
socks at? Where my socks at?
Off the air, I got to tell you a story speaking of socks.
Damn.
I went home without my one sock one time.
Oh, man.
God damn.
The getaway.
You
The
see
getaway.
that? They was, I
Man,
lost a
the
sock
one
one
to see
time.
the-
Yo.
But listen, that happened to me one time,
Damn,
and I
it
realized
got
after
you
the
deep.
fact that she got me liquored up so that she could take advantage of me.
Damn. She was like,
Right?
Deep
Crazy
Diddy.
word.
I mean, I was more willing than
Right.
probably I would admit.
Right.
But she. Now I realized like for every two that I had, she had like half of one.
Right.
So she like got me.
Dang. You sure she didn't slip you one? Sure she didn't
You
slip
know?
She was trying to see your nakedness.
She wanted to get
Who
your
knows?
inhibitions down.
Who knows, bro? Who knows? It's crazy. Read that verse again. Read that verse again.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
All right, so she did me like that.
Damn,
I was like,
golly.
let's go to Ephesians 5:18.
Damn.
Some brothers like, damn, I wish that would have happened to me.
Right.
I don't have them type of stories.
It's not a good feeling when you think about it afterwards, all right? You're like, damn, I feel kind of cheap.
Damn, for real.
Like, what the hell? Ephesians 5:18. Come
The
on.
book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 18. And be not drunk.
Start at 17.
Verse 17. Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is.
Right. So, you got to have the drinking in perspective. You're walking in this walk. You got to think about those things. Go ahead. Come on.
And be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit.
Right. Be filled with the Spirit, right? Don't be drunk with wine where is excess. And remember, tipsy is excess.
Right.
Tipsy is excess. Drunk and tipsy, synonymous. They mean the same thing.
Sloshed.
Sloshed, brother.
He inebriated.
Inebriated.
1 Corinthians 6.
Shoot.
10 is the point, but I think we'll start at 9.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God?
Right. And it's talking about the unrighteous, so it's going to tell us what are unrighteous things that can prevent you from inheriting the kingdom of God. Go ahead, come on.
Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards.
The Bible considers drunkenness the same as a thief, the same as a covetous person, the same as a fornicator, an idolater, an adulterer, an effeminate, or a homosexual. Drunkenness is the same level of sin. According to what we're reading here, right? According to what we're reading here. Go ahead, come on.
Nor revelers.
Right?
No,
that's revilers. That's not revelers. Okay. That's revilers.
Nor revilers. Nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God.
Right. And read verse 11. Come on.
And such were some of you.
There it is.
Such were some of us.
Most of us.
You can
so
repent.
if that, remember, I'm here talking, vaguely about stories, but I'm not getting too deep into them stories, right?
Vaguely.
Because I'm trying to keep that old man behind me.
Right.
Right? But it says, such were some of you. Right? Such were some of us, if these things. Right? So we have to look at that stuff, right? But now what?
And such were some of you, but ye are washed, but ye are sanctified, but ye are justified in the name of the Lord Jesus and by the Spirit of our God.
And what that means is go and sin no more.
Right.
So some people that still deal with that drunkenness, that you got to fill up a cup like this or mug like this when you have your drink. Remember, a real serving is 2 ounces.
Right.
Right? Like that's the little shot that they pour in, right? And then you ask for a double and they put more and stuff like that, right? And you got to realize that what they tell you is most people 2 is where you're going to be within the moderate zone. Right?
Typically.
2. Right? Some people 1, right? Especially if it has additives or if it's a cocktail with a lot of sugar or whatever it is.
Right.
And sometimes the 1 has more than, so let's say you go out to a bar or restaurant, that cocktail and all that makeup might have a longer pour.
Right.
Right.
It's like a Long
Depending on
Island.
who pouring
Depending on
it.
Or if you go to like Asian places, they make their drink strong as hell, bro.
Yeah, somebody trying to get you got.
Yeah. What did I used to do? I used to do Alabama Slammers one time. I went through phases. Alabama Slammer. It was something red. I don't know what else was
I
in it.
ain't never heard of that.
Well, I used to do kamikazes.
Okay, I heard.
Right, because it was like lemonade,
Right,
so you just throw them back.
Mhm.
And then I used to do Alabama Slammers or Red Devils, and then I used to do Grey Goose and vodka for a long time.
No, damn.
Grey Goose is vodka. You mean Grey Goose is like?
I'm sorry, Grey Goose and cranberry.
Cranberry. There you go.
Then I used to do Key Royales when I was feeling real VIP-ish.
Okay,
Which is champagne
Real
and
regal.
Chambord. But I had the different ones that I would jump with. And I say that because not that I'm proud of any of that, but I want people to realize like I didn't like, oh, it's easy for you to say because you never really drink and stuff like no. I'm telling you,
don't understand.
You don't understand.
I had my youth.
Right. I used to roll around befuddled.
Befuddled.
Sloshed. Right? I used to be sloshed. Right. That's a good graphic, right?
Damn.
So sometimes you go to these places and they give you one drink, right? And it says, I only have time for a glass of wine. But look,
Bruh.
that's the glass.
That's it deceiving you.
I give you an example. Dallas BBQ in New York, right? they used to call it Dallas BBQ, right? That was like the date spot for like the thugged out ghetto. Like you were Jake, you would go there.
It's like the
that was the
cookout.
spot.
It's like the cookout.
And their big thing was the Henny wings. They used to do Henny chicken wings.
Henny wings.
Right. The big thing was the Henny wings.
I ain't gonna put
But
that on fire.
they would sell these Texas-sized drinks.
Okay.
Oh,
And one drink was actually more than one drink because it was Texas-sized.
Right.
And then sometimes you could buy it with shots, and they would put it like in a little alchemist vial, going into how we read about the alchemy.
Yeah.
And it would be in there upside down, like so you would upcharge for $2 more, like extra shots of Henny in your Texas-sized drink, right? So you would roll with this stuff, and you're like, oh, but I only had one drink. Your one drink is this picture here,
Bruh.
Dick, I go to New Orleans. I pull up to a drive-through. I say I want a what you call them things? A daiquiri?
Oh, the slushies. Yep.
Dick.
Hey, there's
You know they can drive with that shit.
There's other things. The examiner says, what about liquor to help you sleep? Especially if there's other things that you could take that are healthier for you than alcohol for you to sleep.
That's facts.
Because let me tell you
don't even
something.
sleep on
You're
alcohol.
sorely mistaken if you think alcohol gives you good sleep.
Man.
It may get you to sleep,
Right.
but your heart rate variability, the stress on your system.
Right.
I know that why. I got this little device here that I use.
Right.
That's right.
Whoop.
And
there
when,
it is.
when I drink, it shows me how stressful I can go to sleep, right? Because it's a depressant,
Facts.
right? Same way, like people, like brothers on the trip would drink coffee at night, and I'm like, yo, that's gonna mess you up. Nah, I can fall asleep. I didn't say you can't fall asleep. I said it's gonna mess you up.
Yeah, that's when I learned. Yeah.
Or you
Right.
get a yellow recovery or worse.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
You're
Oh,
not
man.
getting a green one.
No, you're not, right? So, bro, there's other things
heavy.
other than alcohol that you could do to help you go to sleep, right? I would rather you take some over-the-counter supplement or even some no-dose
Right.
if there's some
Right.
issue with that. You know, I think that's going to be better for you than using alcohol to go to sleep.
Yeah, even when you think about it, Deke.
Especially if you work a graveyard shift, you drinking in the morning. You got to examine, like,
Oh, that's
Man,
crazy
what's
work.
up?
right?
That's
Oh, my
crazy
God. Oh,
work.
my Jesus.
that's wild.
I was thinking, Deke, if you use alcohol to fall asleep, wouldn't your body be breaking it down as you're sleeping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's a
so
stressor.
you're not resting.
Right, you're poisoning
Nah,
yourself to
you're
go to
stressing.
bed.
Yeah. Damn. Damn it.
Other things you could take. They even got teas that you could drink.
That's
Oh,
right.
That'll
yeah.
help you.
Yeah,
know,
that chamomile.
right? Nah, they got
Yeah,
other
they-
stuff
that
that has
chamomile-
like
that chamomile
no,
fire.
there's other stuff that has like valerian root in it and
Chamomile.
stuff
Lavender.
like that, right?
All right, that lavender.
Oh, that's interesting. Go ahead.
While alcohol might initially make you feel drowsy, it ultimately disrupts sleep quality and can lead to fragmented or restless sleep.
So you're creating a vicious cycle for yourself. Go ahead, come on.
To improve sleep after drinking, aim to avoid alcohol at least 3 to 4 hours before
So
bed.
you should
Right.
actually avoid it. Go ahead.
Drink plenty of water to counter dehydration and consider a cold shower before bed.
Right. So you have some initial
So over
sedation because of the slowdown in brain activity, and it makes you feel drowsy and sleepy. But as it's metabolized, like you just said, it says that it disrupts your natural sleep cycle.
Yep.
So reduces REM sleep, increased nighttime wakenings. You have a rebound effect.
Damn it.
Terrible.
So the nightcap is Negro psychology.
Hell
Yeah.
Yep. No nightcap.
That's us
No
trying to
night-
That's
cope
out the
with
book of
reality.
Right?
Nicolations.
No, but think about it, right?
That's out the book of Nicolations. Thou shalt have the nightcap.
Yeah, could be in there, right? Yeah. Hey, and they got some like the yogi teas. They got some that help you sleep, and it has
Yep.
chamomile, it
Stress
has
relief.
valerian root, it
Valerian
has a
root,
bunch of
yeah.
stuff in there, and that thing will knock you down nice. You know what I'm saying? That thing will knock you down
Bada
nice.
boom, bada
But
bing.
you know, you got to examine is that really why you want it, right? Let's look at Luke 21:34.
I'm sorry. Why
Hey,
you
that's-
keep scooting up higher? Like you said, higher than deep. Why you keep scooting up in your
my-
chair?
you-
Ain't nobody do. I don't know what the hell
You
he's talking
low
about.
today.
I lowered my seat.
Yeah, you low today.
Because
I don't know what he's talking about.
Ashai put it really high.
So you took
and
the
I
low.
said, no, I don't want it that high because I usually have it a little lower. But then he lowered it a lot, and I said, I'm just not gonna adjust it.
So you taking the low for the
You know
low.
what it is? He made me feel bad. He said that I was hurting him earlier.
Oh dang!
He hurt your feet.
Were you hurting?
He said that I feel like you're just trying to hurt me.
Damn.
And I said, damn. I said, let me make him feel tall today.
Right. You wish you was a little bit taller.
I push it again and again and again.
Oh my Jesus!
That's crazy
good-
work.
That's crazy work. I remember
Hey,
that, right?
yeah. Hey, but to go back to topic though, and that's also an expensive.
Push your butt.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, because the examiner was talking about using that as a sleeping aid or so and all that, right? That's an expensive sleeping aid.
That is an expensive sleeping aid.
Bruh.
You could buy.
Man.
They got tea on sale. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Alcohol never on sale.
And tea in general just
Shoot.
really nice. You know what I'm saying? And you know,
Get you one of them
Warm,
Posturepedic
comforting.
adjustables or something.
yeah,
The,
man.
the masseuse bed.
Hey, and if you really want to get like an even heavier drowsy hit, throw a little honey in there. The little sugar spike will give you the itis.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? And you'll be all right.
You
You're
out,
in
bada
there.
boom, bada bing.
Luke 21:34.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 21, verse 34.
Come on.
And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting.
Right. So we read about surfeiting, right? Excess. Go ahead. Come on.
And drunkenness.
And drunkenness. So meaning it's not moderation. It's more than. Go ahead. Come on.
And cares of this life. And so that day come upon you unaware.
Right, because it'll affect you spiritually, right?
You're
And
not
there's a
sober.
spiritual impact to it. Let me get Sirach
Vigilant.
18 and 30. Sirach 18 and 30. 18 and 30. I'm not gonna get through all my scriptures because I don't want to keep running real late. It's already 10 o'clock with a lot of information. But I might do a part 2 or at least half of the next show. I might touch on the rest of what I
Might
got
do
here.
the marathon, maybe.
I don't know about that. Sirach 18:30.
The book of Sirach, chapter 18 and verse 30.
Dealing with moderating this, right? Dealing with moderating this, right? And again, you got to be honest with yourself. And with alcohol, people tend not to be, right? They tend to defend it. I got it under control. Not a big deal, right? It's gamblers are the same way,
Facts.
right? All these addictive type of things, right? And there's underlying things that drive you to that type of stuff. Go ahead, come on.
Go not after thy lust, but refrain thyself from thine appetite.
Right. So this is really what we're getting into. Refrain yourself from your appetites, right? Mortify your members.
Right.
But you have to take the accountability for it, right? And unless you're ready to take accountability, you're going to feel attacked.
Right.
So when you try to get somebody to take accountability, they act like you're attacking them. And all you're looking for is for them to take ownership of whatever part of it. If it's all of it or some of it, just take that ownership and it just starts to clear up the whole situation. You know, like you get to Matthew 18 and it says, gain your brother, right?
That's the purpose.
Sometimes in that, not always, there's something on both parties that needs to be acknowledged. Right? Even if it's something the way something might have been perceived. And I say sometimes because some people, you see, you gotta I knew a brother that'd be like, well, I apologize, so now are you gonna apologize?
Right.
Oh damn.
Oh, so your apology was bullshit then if that's what you're waiting for.
Right.
Right? Like what type of BS is that, right? But there needs to be an acceptance of accountability. And accountability often feels like an attack when you're not ready to take that responsibility, right? And that's why people, when you talk about things like the narcissism or their depression or their weight, everybody feels attacked, so they put up these excuses, right? Defensive posture. I had a manager that was always like that. Like he would come and he was trying to build us to be better managers. And when he would say something, we missed the whole lesson he was trying to teach us because we would get up. He would be like, defensive? Why are you defensive?
You and your feels.
Bro, and initially that thing used to piss me off. Like, this mother... You know, I'm like this, right? and then when I realized what he was trying to do, I said, "Oh snap!" I said, "You know what? Yeah, that's kind of a childish, inappropriate response to go on the defensive so quickly." Let me stop for a second, bro. And it's so easy for us to do it. As much as I regulate myself, I find myself being defensive in certain situations too, and I got to stop and laugh, right? And you know, depending on where the defensiveness. The person that is coming from, if it's an individual that's very good and they don't respond in kind, they'll be like, "Hey, relax. I'm not attacking you.
Right.
Yeah, tranquilo, relax, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Hey, you realize you don't gotta. It's okay. You don't gotta escalate. What's up? Let's talk about it, right? You know, but sometimes that thing is infectious, right? And it's like you get defensive, I get defensive, right? You push the button, I push the button.
Let's all push the button.
Let's all push the button, right? And then it blows up, right? But go ahead, come on, read this from the top again.
Go not after thy lusts, but refrain thyself from thine appetite.
Refrain yourself from your appetites, whatever they might be. The scripture says you need to. That's practicing moderation. That's abstinence. That's being moderate. Right? Let your moderation be known to all men, the scripture says, right? It's talking about in spirit, right? You show your moderation is really application of the commandments.
Right.
When it says let your moderation be known, it's the same thing Christ said when he said, let your light shine.
That's
right? It's dealing with the same type of thing, right? And as leaders, that's something that I always consider is that though I can in those certain situations, it's not necessarily something that might be a sinful behavior. Is it appropriate? Right? There's certain things I might not do. It might not be expedient for people to see me in a certain light, depending on the crowd that I'm with. Like, you know, there's modifications that you make depending on who's around you. Right? Go ahead, come on.
If thou givest thy soul the desires that please her.
And notice what it says, the desires. This goes back to that it's a soul thing. We know that we say it's mental, we say it's this. It's saying the soul. Remember, you're born with evil members and you're good, and you're born with carnal members, right? So the soul that is talking about here is not the spiritual soul, right? We read earlier about building yourself in spirit, right? When in Ephesians 5, right? So this is going into the spirit dealing with the carnal. Go ahead, come on.
She will make thee a laughing stock to
a mocker. Go ahead.
To thine enemies that malign thee.
Read.
Take not pleasure in much good cheer, neither be tied to the expense thereof.
Right. So meaning, don't be chasing that thing where you're trying to get that tipsy feeling, where you're trying to get that drunk feeling.
Trying to unleash the dragon.
Right. Taste. Right. Don't taste the sloshing. Don't chase the sloshing. Take not pleasure in much good cheer, neither be tied to the expense thereof. Come on.
Be not made a beggar by banqueting.
Because some people wind up to their detriment,
like that movie you mentioned,
by banqueting, right? Jacked up, like Requiem for a Dream, right? Like leaving Las Vegas. Go ahead, come on.
By banqueting upon borrowing, when thou hast nothing in thy purse.
Right. So then it says, you know, you partying off of no money. You ever seen the homeless guy in the street that wants money for a beer, or for his next hit?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all.
And Working for a Dream, they go into stuff like that, like what they give up to get that next high, because they don't refrain themselves from their appetites. And of course, that's the extreme.
That's very extreme.
But there's also a spiritual cost, right? There's talking about money, but there's a spiritual cost. Go ahead, come on.
For thou shalt lie in wait
when thou hast nothing.
When thou hast nothing in thy purse. For thou shalt lie in wait for thine own life and be talked on.
Right, and then you're mocked, right?
A mocker.
Right, and people are not taking heed. Let's get Romans 13 and 13. We're going to give a few more scriptures, and then we're going to move to wrap up. And like I said, I'll probably do, if it's not a full part 2, I'll cover some of this the next time we do the show, just to kind of close it out. And then we might move on to something else. Well, I don't know what it'll be at that point, but Romans 13 and 13.
The book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 13. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting.
Remember I said you were the light, let it shine, right?
Right.
Let your moderation be known, right? Let us walk honestly as in the day. Come on.
Not in rioting.
And honestly, the letter next to mine, it says decently. Again, right? Remember, do all things decently and in order. A lot of time we use that for when the structure and chain of command, but it's talking about everything. And that includes the things of dealing with the appetites and your lust. And some people, the alcohol is, right? Go ahead, come on.
Not in rioting and drunkenness.
Neither in rioting, because why? Rioting, that excess, that partying, all of that, and drunkenness go hand in hand with surfeiting as well, right? Go ahead, come on.
Not in chambering and wantonness.
Chambering goes into the banqueting. It's saying the same thing. And wantonness, because why? Wanton behavior comes behind that. Come on.
Not in strife and envying.
Oh, not because all these things come from that stuff. Look, Tobias is chuckling because Frank is in there and he's like, that's how Frank rolls. Right?
I was laughing. He said strife. But I'll take that too.
Frank got a little something in there, right?
That's right.
Right. So it says, come on, go ahead.
But put ye on the Lord Jesus Christ.
Right. And what?
And make not provision for the flesh.
Right. Refrain thyself from thy appetites, from thy lust. Don't make that provision for the flesh. Put on what? The mind of Christ, because there's another scripture that says, but we have the mind of Christ. Go ahead, come on.
To fulfill the lust thereof.
Right. Make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. This is the part where, yes, there's a real chemical thing that goes on in your brain when you take the alcohol, but you know that you've stepped over that boundary. You know that you're moving into that realm to do that sort of thing, right? And you should not. You have to build yourself up. And this doesn't just go for the alcoholism. I would use this same verse to deal with anything that you're dealing with that involves your soul, because that's really what's at stake. It's the battle for your soul. Right? It weigheth down the soul, the body, right? So you have to realize those things. Let's get Sirach 31 and 27. A few more scriptures, and then we're going to wrap up. I was going to go into like some biblical examples of drunkenness and stuff like that. But like I said, I'll bring it out.
Maybe the next one.
I'll bring it out on the next one, even if it's just part of the show.
And there's a lot of examples.
I'll go with. Oh,
That'd
yeah.
be great.
Yeah. And maybe we could come with some more when we do that. All right. Sirach 31 and 27. Let's talk about some of the aspects of wine, but I want to keep it in perspective, right? Because remember, I said I'm going to focus on the bad because most people
That's what we deal with.
need to deal with it.
Right.
But I'm not saying that it should wholly not be utilized. That's not what the scripture says.
Right.
Right. But the Lord understands that in moderation, real moderation, not your perception of moderation, right? And that real moderation is that anything above feeling a little more sociable, tipsy is not okay. Buzzed is not okay.
You took the devil by the hand.
Right. Sloshed is not okay. Slosh. Right? Go ahead, read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 31 and verse 27. Wine is as good as life to a man.
Right. Wine is as good as life to a man. Come on.
If it be drunk moderately.
If it be drunk moderately. So the wine, the drink, it can be a good thing if it be in that moderation. And I told you what that, you're not going to be there with your own breathalyzer to see what your alcohol level is.
Yeah, you got to know.
So you got to go by that behavior. You feel relaxed.
Right.
You feel
Sociable.
a little more warmth. I don't mean like physically warm, but you feel a little more warmth and sociability.
Right.
Stop. That's moderation. Anything above that,
you slosh.
and you got to be honest about that.
Yeah, that's real.
Because
That's real.
the perception of, you know what I'm saying? So really for me, the real line is if you start to broach into that tipsy feeling, the face, the tingly, the numbness, right? Stop.
You're inebriated.
You're moving past the point of giving the hand to the devil.
But the flesh is gonna want you to drink more.
The flesh is gonna want you to drink more. The flesh is gonna want you to drink more. You gotta stop. I don't care how good it tastes. I don't care how often I don't do it often or whatever it is. Discipline yourself. Discipline yourself, right? And again, sometimes there's context to that. If I'm with my wife and we're throwing back 2 or 3 and I know it's just her and me, right?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We throwing back 2 or 3 and I know it's just her and me.
Oh.
Hey, that was your bars. Hold on. I just cleaned it up a little bit.
Right? Again, right? So scenario has something to do with it as well as far as moderation, right?
Right.
I'm not going to try to tell you that, you're doing that and you're with your wife and that's fine. Now, if y'all start getting stupid with each other, we had another couple in here that they would drink and then fight each other.
Oh, damn.
You know what I'm talking about too, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not here right now because of that madness, but put the beats on each other.
Dang.
Man.
Read that again.
Wine is as good as life to a man, if it be drunk moderately. What life is then to a man that is without wine? Or it was made to make men glad.
It was. Wow. And we went over what those effects are, right? Hey, we gotta really, before the next show, I hate the sound on this.
I mean, you sound
I don't know what it is.
impeccable over here.
I don't know.
I'm loving it, man.
I don't know. I hear like a different thing.
Right.
Like unless I keep my mouth like right on the mic, if I move away even a
it's
little
like
bit.
a little. Okay, now that.
And it wasn't like that before.
That sounds
but
weird like this, but like
it's
this
directional.
is good.
yeah,
It's directional.
I gotta be like right on it. Like I gotta be like.
Oh my Jesus! Oh my Jesus!
Yeah.
That was crazy.
You know when you're in the end of the show, it's time.
Right.
It's time for me to go to bed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep reading. Where we at? What verse?
Verse 28. Wine measurably drunk, and in season bringeth gladness of the heart.
So the in season part is what I'm saying. So the context, right? You with your wife, you know what I'm saying.
Forget about
you in a
it.
safe space.
Yeah, y'all
right?
might be in there making babies.
But notice it still said measurably.
Right.
Right.
The key word is moderation and measurably. Right.
Right.
Is what it talks about with alcohol. Go ahead, come on.
Wine measurably drunk, and in season bringeth gladness of the heart.
Then it brings some gladness of the heart. Come on.
And cheerfulness of the mind.
Right, but it's still intoxicating. So when you go past those points, it can still do physical damage to your body. Go ahead, come on.
But wine drunk with excess maketh bitterness of the mind.
That's what really winds up happening. Come on.
With brawling and quarreling.
Ooh, yeah. I definitely got to continue this on the next show, right?
Yes.
With brawling and quarreling, man.
Get some video.
And we talk about that. And the brother that called in, he said, "Damn, but some people be wanting to fight." He goes, "I'm not like that." And but a lot of people,
That's true.
when they drink, they want to be fighting, right? They want to be fighting. Come on.
Verse 30, drunkenness increaseth the rage of a fool.
Right. So if that's in you, if you're a fool, it increases your rage. Go ahead, come on.
Till he offend.
And then he offends, right? See, say something, he passed, whatever.
Right,
Go ahead, come on.
It diminishes strength and maketh wound.
Right, because you offend somebody, you make a wound to yourself, to somebody else, right? And you move in a spirit where you're jacked up. Go ahead, come on.
Rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine, and despise him not in his mirth.
Right, come on.
Give him no despiteful words, and press not upon him with urging him to drink.
That goes into where we read in Habakkuk about giving them the drink and stuff like that.
Right.
Hey, you see, okay, maybe we both got to pull back. Let's not keep going and this, that, and the other, right? This is good. This is the wine in moderation. Let's get Ecclesiastes 10:17. Ecclesiastes 10:17. Almost done. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more scripts, and then we're gonna wrap. Ecclesiastes 10:17. Read that.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 17. Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season, for strength and for not for drunkenness.
Right, so you can drink the wine for the gladness, but measurably and in moderation, right? But it says for what? Read that last part again.
Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season.
Right, so there's a season, come on.
For strength and not for drunkenness.
Right, for strength and not for drunkenness, right?
They discipline in
right,
that.
that's the measurability, that's the moderation. That's how you move in the spirit with the wine. Let's get Psalms 104 and 15. Psalm 104 and 15. And I'm telling you, the biggest thing is you got to realize that there's a problem. Because it's not a leaving Las Vegas Requiem for a Dream problem. You think you good, but you know. People who wind up taking that responsibility and that accountability, you know. And you can look at it in hindsight and say, damn, man, I was really, and I justified it. I wasn't moving. I wasn't moving the right way. I did drink a lot.
Right. I wasn't moving like a noble.
And why was that really necessary for me to do that, right? Because if we know it's to make you glad, that's why it says very highly associated with depression. And remember, it's not the cure. It's a palliative treatment for it.
Right.
Versus really getting to the root of it.
Yeah.
And that's why you got to really embrace the scriptures to heal those things that are in you, that you're broken, right? The alcohol's the Band-Aid.
That's right.
And then when you go past, it becomes even worse. You increase your wounds, right? Come on, Psalms 104 and 15.
The book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 15. And wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengtheneth man's heart.
Right. So this is going into God, the creator, and the things that he gave us. And it says wine's one of the things that he gave us. What? With the intention to make make glad the heart of man, right? But there's a point where you go over and
the threshold,
and it goes beyond, right? And it goes beyond, right? The poison's in the dose, right? And he says oil to make your face shine, or your beard for you dry, crackly beard drift brothers, right?
You non-beard brothers.
Get
beardgains.com.
And bread which strengthen man's hearts, right? Which could be food. Sometimes some warm bread be hitting, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yo,
that made you happy.
Cornbread yesterday
with some cafecito, bro. Let me tell you, some café con leche with the bread. You gotta watch the PR doc, bro. Like within the first few minutes, they talk about why the coffee's so good.
Oh, you saw it?
I saw a few
Oh,
in the
okay.
beginning.
All right.
Why
Nice.
the coffee's so good at the Café Mallorca.
And no, the way they make it is very special.
Yeah, bro. There's a way that he makes it with the máquina. That's
Ay,
special.
Dios mío.
Because Tobias be like, just Spanish names make it. It's just coffee with milk.
Man,
nah, bro.
Cafe con leche. Coffee with milk.
Nah,
coffee.
bro.
You haven't reached.
You haven't converted. You have not converted.
Listen, and I like a latte, bro, but this ain't a latte.
Right.
This ain't a macchiato or shaken espresso.
Or some matcha. Stop it.
It's something different, bro. It's something different.
Just cut it out.
It's something different on your own because your Spanish ain't up to par.
It's not.
All right. Let me get some rock 19 and 2. So rock 19 and 2. Nah, but some cafecito and some bread.
So you already happy. You ain't even tasted it.
Like, bro, I'll take some cafecito and some pan. Over the strong drink. I'll tell you that.
Pan bread.
Like that's gonna hit my spirit,
Bro,
better.
in the
Well,
morning.
when I say pan, bro, I'm talking about some nice bread.
Yeah, we talking about some good pan.
Yeah, maybe a little toasted. You know what I'm saying? A little crust, a little softness,
a little butter,
a little butter, little butter. What's Rock 19 and 2? I didn't go on a food tangent today. Now the show's over. I'm Rock 19 and 2. Come
the
on.
book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 2. Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away.
Kind of like we were reading something similar earlier, right?
Whiskey and women.
Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away. Come on.
And he that cleaveth to harlots will become impudent.
Like prostitutes that you're paying to, right? You become impudent, meaning what? You lose discernment, understanding in the scripture.
Preeminence.
That goes with Proverbs 6, where it says a man that commit adultery or fornication.
Lack of
understanding. That's what's going into when it says impudent. But it also likens alcohol and excess of alcohol in that same vein, right?
They're always linked.
It's always linked. Sirach 31 and 25. Sirach 31 and 25.
The book of Sirach, chapter 31 and verse 25. Show not thy valiantness in wine.
Right, because what happened? Liquid courage.
Right.
Show not thy valiantness in wine. Come on.
Right.
For wine have destroyed men.
That thing where I can hold my liquor. I could drink more, right?
That mean you got your ass
you
whooped.
got you got your ass whooped, right? It also goes with everything else that happens when excess of drinking, right? You gotta look at those things, right? I'm gonna stop it there. I got more. I got my notes all nice and organized. Oh, bro, I got a ton more, man. I got examples and warnings of alcohol.
There's one in Proverbs, Deke, where it talks about like everything gives you redness of eyes.
Right.
And we gotta bring those out.
I got examples of abstainers, right?
We got a whole list
Redemption.
in that joint.
Right. I got redemption and moderation, self-control, right?
Man. Torta on strong.
The temperance that's required, right? Overcoming it. Okay. I also got there's one in Proverbs 23 that we didn't go over about tarrying long at the wine. Yep. There's a bunch.
We coming back with
There's a bunch. We read Isaiah 28, but yep. Yeah, man, there's a few. I still got more. But we'll see. Anyway, listen, y'all. I appreciate y'all staying. I'm like, damn, I don't know. It's crazy because it don't feel like we did 3 hours on the show.
Oh,
no, it goes by like
It never does,
bro. It never does, bro.
And I imagine it don't fit because the viewership stays pretty high. We got a few people that drop off, they fall out.
Yeah. I mean, we still at 400.
Yeah,
400.
we were close to like 5 at one point.
Yeah.
You know, that seems to be par for the course.
I mean, that's
It's
the
1
power.
o'clock in the morning
That's
somewhere,
the
bro.
power for the hour.
That's the power for the hour. Yep. But hey, Lord's will, this was edifying to you. Lord's will, next show, I will also continue with the rest of what I got. All right. We're going to take it away to push the button.
Push your button. Push your button.
Shalom. We are seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. Thank you for your time.
Yo, that was really corporate America.
All right. I like it.
Bro, I like the
liked
system.
it.
Deke, I don't know. I think they just need to fix your end. But I love
Yeah,
what do you
I
think
don't
about
know.
the system?
It makes us feel really powerful.
Bro, I love
mixed
this
I
feeling,
feel
bro.
more
I like
power.
both.
Like
it's clear.
Bro,
It
it's
sounds
clear. There's a lot of
Listen,
bass.
it gets the people going.
But there's an echo.
We gotta sell
got
deep.
no
I mean, we gotta sell it to deep.
Periodically, there's an echo.
Yeah. When you're far away like this, it doesn't sound.
Yeah,
right.
when you're away, but you gotta.
Right, you gotta. What did they do? I don't know. That was crazy. That was crazy.
He went.
That was-
This brother went.
All right. So check it out. Follow us at IUIC Phoenix. We got TikTok. We got Instagram.
Hey, hit the follow, man. Hit the follow.
Yeah, we
Look,
need some IG. We need some IG followers.
We need some Instagram followers.
Oh, we
you
very
know what I'm
scam.
saying? I know we got the likes up on the show side. We got 517 on the likes. So you know, but hey, look. Get your phone out. Hit them QR codes. Get the TikTok. Hit the Instagram. All right. We got at IUIC Phoenix at the Power Hour Plus. All right. Hook us up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else we got?
Come on.
Go ahead.
All right. So check it out, y'all. Donate to the Booster Club. As you know, we traveling. This ain't the thing we just do every now and then. We traveling all year round, 365.
That's right.
I'm talking about it's so frequent now, bro. The Lord has expanded us so far now, bro. We are everywhere.
It's
East,
crazy work.
northwest, south, everywhere. You know, and as we do these things, you know it ain't cheap.
Wait,
you
we
know?
on Antarctica yet? Are we Antarctica yet?
I don't know, bro. We ain't gone there.
Not yet.
There
Not
might be
yet.
some Native Americans down there.
It
I don't
might
know.
be. It
you
might
never
be.
know, bro. Tribe of Gad. That might be a mission for the Northern Kingdom call team, bro.
That's
you know what
it.
I'm saying? So yeah, hey, make sure y'all scan that QR code, or you can text to give. Please donate to the Booster Club. We need y'all help. We need y'all help. Go ahead, Rue.
Hey, check this out. Next week, Original Royalty. We got something in store for you. Don't miss it. And until then, you need to get beardgains.com for the latest manly badge of dignity sense on your face.
In the face.
In the face. In the face.
Lord.
Oh my goodness, this
Oh,
guy
praise
and these buttons, bro.
Man.
Oh my goodness. Give me one more time. Okay, push the
Damn.
button.
Push your button.
No, not now. Now I want them to push the button in the booth.
Oh, go ahead.
Not you. Not you.
I pushed the button.
That one.
There
Oh.
we go.
Yeah.
I got a new nickname now.
Push it. Yeah, push it. Yo, now whenever you see Asher, if you haven't seen him in a while, after you give him the dap, go push it.
Oh my God.
Shalom, fam. Most High Christ bless. Stay in the spirit.
Shalom, shalom,
Wham.
shalom.
This for the Southern Kingdom, Kwam Yasharallah.
Hey, one nation, one nation.
This for the Northern Kingdom, Viva la Raza.
We one nation, one nation.
This for the Southern Kingdom, Kwam Yasharallah.
Hey, one nation, one nation.
This for the Northern Kingdom, Viva la Raza.
We one nation, one nation.
It wouldn't be Israel without Mexicans. Black love, brown pride, cause we next to kin. We ain't gotta tell Esau to let's be friends, cause we above all nations and we better than them. We the salt of the earth, ayy, ayy. And we been king since birth, ayy, ayy. We put the kingdom first, ayy, ayy. And they gon' get this work, ayy, ayy. We was chosen, not cause we the most of the people. Few in numbers, but we over the people. We gods of this earth, we ain't supposed to be equal. Stop playing, you emotional people. The good gotta triumph over the evil. So my foot's on the throat of the eagle. Their tongues will confess that we the people. Cause my nation ain't never been fees.